Hello, everybody. I'm choosing attack and defend and abilities and also summon. It's Final Fantasy. It's here. It's no longer a fantasy. Now it's a nightmare. How's everybody doing today? Welcome to Dungeon Delving Final Fantasy Commander Decks. And that's right. We're specifically talking about the Commander Decks today. We were supposed to have one more guest. They were unfortunately not able to make it. Benji, we love you. We miss you already. But with that out of the way, we're keeping things simple. We're going to go ahead and we're going to talk about these decks. We're going to talk about them in number order of 6, 7, 10, and 14. We'll be going around this group, reading the different cards. They do have some mechanics that are relative to the set. Since we're doing our top 5 for the set later, we will talk about those mechanics during that video. If we do have one of the cards that has the mechanics, that person will read what the mechanic does, and we can discuss it here. But ultimately, going through the list real quick, I don't think... I lied. We're immediately going to be talking about one of the interesting things that's happened in this set with Ryan. Because of Ryan.
Thanks, Ryan. Appreciate that.
Right. And yeah. And we will be talking about another one because of Geek. So, there's that.
My fault.
Yep. So you will get our opinions realistically twice, but we do have somebody that is supposed to be joining us for the top 5 video. So that's going out. I'm bringing that up because this will realistically come out before we film that episode. Realistically, your times of what's going to happen is this video will come out on by the time you're seeing this, it should be Monday, June 2nd. Yeah. June 2nd. We're filming the top 5 video on that Wednesday the 4th, and then you should get that on the 6th when pre-release hits. And hopefully I can get that out nice and early in the morning, so this way you can view it and keep an eye out on certain cards. Because we have quite a lot to talk about with this set. The set is...
It's a set.
It's a set. It's a set, and
it's the set.
Yeah, so we're going to go ahead and do introductions real quick. And we're going to start with our... honestly, you're no longer a guest at this point. One of my co-hosts for Dungeon Delving, it's Geek.
Hey, everybody. I'm Geek. Geekbeardly everywhere. I do plain theme decks a lot. I also like to just be a positive person on the blue skies and all that good stuff. And hang around with my friends Ryan and Scruff. Because, fun to talk to them. So now you guys get to hear it. Thanks for having me again. Always. I got promoted.
Yeah, I don't think I can officially call you a part of Magic the Dungeoning, but you're effectively a co-host of Dungeon Delving at this point. You've been on more episodes than anybody else in this group besides Ryan.
I'm fine with that. Works for me.
So, with that, then of course I'm joined by always my co-host Ryan.
Like, second verse name was the first. You can find me on Blue Sky under Merrick Ulbrich, Kindred Specialist. I don't post much. Trying to get that. Geek has been on my case about it, but I'll
get you social. It's okay.
Yeah, I'm a shy person. What do you expect?
He's never had to be. I've always been there to help him.
You've been adopted by the extrovert.
Oh no, yeah. He is 100%. I am introverted as fuck. I am just.
There's your one.
Yeah, I think it's worth it to use it for that one. I am an introvert to the T. Like I am very shy.
Every introvert needs to have an extrovert or 2 or 3 that adopt them and make them do
if
things.
it wasn't, 100%. If it wasn't for Bill, it wasn't for Scruff, I wouldn't be doing this.
I have a few of them. I'm not gonna lie.
And I am Will, also known as Scruffy Nerfherd. You can find me here also on twitch.tv/Magic The Dungeoning, where we play a D&D campaign set in the universe of Magic the Gathering. And other things. We do have something, we do have a one-shot planned for the near future, and I'm so excited about it that there may be a trailer coming soon.
Right. Cool.
Yes. Yeah. Something that we've been talking about for a while. I've mentioned it on stream, so it's not like it's anything new, but a trailer is coming for a one-shot that we've got planned. Jasper and I were talking about it because we've been planning like a one-shot, and yeah, I will be DMing it, so this will be even more fun. I get to watch my players squirm and crawl. But with that, what we're going to do real quick is we're going to go ahead and we're going to talk about each of these decks. We're going to mention the color identity and what the overall strategy of the deck is. And then what'll happen is here we'll talk about 2 of our favorite new cards that are in the deck. And then we'll get to talk about a legendary we would like to build around. As far as these things are considered, I don't like to restrain people to what they want to do with certain things. So if they pick 3 legendaries, it's 100% fine. There's a lot of legendary creatures in the Final Fantasy set. There's so many. I believe the last time we did a count was 159. That was on the 29th, and I think 3 more got revealed today, making the total number 162. Ryan, I believe, is going to go look up that number. Ryan doesn't read anything from the first Commander deck, so we're going to go ahead and start in chronological order. This is for Final Fantasy VI Geek. What is that deck looking like?
I'm gonna preface all of this. I am the person in this group who does not know anything about most of the Final Fantasy games. So if I butcher a name or a thing, sorry. And I'll kind of look blankly at all these characters, other than, you know, some of the really popular ones. Anyway, so the face commander for the Mardu deck is Hera, Herald of Hope. She is red, white, and black for a 3/3 legendary creature, human wizard warrior. That's a lot of types. She has trance at the beginning of combat on your turn. Mill 2 cards. Terra gains flying until end of turn. Whenever she deals combat damage to a player, you may pay 2. When you do, return target creature card with power 3 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped. So this deck is Mardu reanimating small things. We've seen that before. It's good strategy. It's
If I had a nickel for every time we had a Mardu Reanimator deck that cared about smaller power creatures, I'd have 2 nickels. I'm pretty glad I got 2 nickels.
She likes 3. Our other lady likes 2.
Is Alessia 2? Yeah. I definitely could see there being a ton of overlap between her and Alessia's deck. Honestly, I think the really funny part is you could slot Terra at the head of an Alessia deck and realistically probably see no difference. You actually can get away with a greedier mana base with Terra purely because Alessia needs 2 hybrid Orzhov. So she needs either a white-black, she either needs 2 white, 2 black, or a white-black, where Terra just asks for 2 generic.
Also true. Yeah, obviously 2
in the world now. Sorry.
Oh yeah, no, you're not wrong. Like mana fixing in the game nowadays is a lot easier than what it was back like when Alessia got dropped and everything. Like, it's definitely not. I had my train of thought. I lost it. I apologize.
You would say you're in a trance. So Terra is the protagonist of Final Fantasy VI. She goes off on the adventure. She's the person who, I believe she's the person who discovers that Kefka's up to some stuff. And if you've seen her card from the main set, she is an Esper, which are like Final Fantasy VI versions of summons. I've never played.
How is she Esper?
No, she is an Esper.
I saw that joke coming. I saw it coming.
And it's really funny because on the backside of her other card, she does add white, white, blue, blue, black, black.
Oh yeah, she is a Woober commander.
She's a Woober commander on the back of her main set card because
in her main set card. Yeah, this one obviously she's just Mardu.
Yeah. So yeah, I think that this is a fine ability. I think do not doubt the ability to gain flying, even though it's just a end of turn. You'll sit there and think, oh, I have enough ground blockers to block all their stuff. I'll swing with all my flyers. And then you've left yourself wide open for her to be able to reanimate something.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Power 3, by the way, opens up a lot of things. Like
getting bolted.
I'm more so thinking the fact of like, Meteor Golem is power 3. It's 7 mana,
Oh, it
3
is.
power.
Oh, it is, isn't it? Oh,
So she, for 2 mana, reanimates that and blows up something.
I forgot that it was a 3 power 7 mana creature.
One of the things I will say about this deck as we go to talk in more about it, and something that we'll talk about overall with all the decks, is the mana bases are kind of poo.
They're lacking.
They
They're
feel
fine,
bad.
whatever.
They feel bad to me.
For a product that is the price that it is, they are not the most optimal.
No. But I will say one of the big things to look out for Terra is that there is a lot of artifact ramp in this deck, and they always do that with all the precons, which is fine. Totally fine. She can reanimate a lot of the creatures in white that fetch lands. Those are
Or some
safer
cool
and
upgrades.
better. So yeah, the deck comes with a Solemn Simulacrum because it's the most amazing card in all of Magic. It's my
Jury's
favorite.
out on that one.
It's my favorite card. But yeah, it comes with a Solemn Simulacrum, but you also have like Claims Jumper, Technomancer, can fetch you swamps. You've got Claims Jumper, Core Cartographer, Knight of the White Orchid, all of those fetch like actual lands to the battlefield. So
I like Claim Jumper, he's pretty cool.
Claim Jumper's great. I've started slotting him more and more into decks because honestly, if he doesn't get you a land at all, you still have a 3 mana 3/3 with Vigilance, which is never a bad thing.
Yeah.
But
It's great catch up in case you have a green player at the board.
Generally, if you're playing Claims Jumper in your deck, you're expecting to be behind on lands, and so it's absolutely great. So, that's just where it is. I think Terra's fine. She's a solid casting cost with a decent power and toughness and fun abilities.
She's also got really cool art,
She's got great art.
and that's
Oh, yeah.
usually, that's not a small thing for most people. So yeah,
Okay.
I think she's really cool. If I played white, I would probably play her.
As a person who plays,
Okay.
sorry, go ahead, Ryan.
No, I was agreeing with you. I wouldn't blame you.
As a
Like,
person,
there's not many colors I don't play.
As a person who thoroughly enjoys graveyard reanimation, love this. So I guess we'll go ahead and talk about the backup commander.
So real quick before we do that,
Oh yeah,
just one. Thank you, Scryfall. Not a sponsor, just a real good site to use.
Really good site.
164 legendary creatures.
just creatures.
Is that
Just
main
creatures.
set and commander
Yes,
set?
main
or-
set
So
and
that's
commander set.
everything. Okay.
That's everything.
Mm.
So that's between commander decks,
Thankfully-
main set, and starter
Oh man,
kit.
I'm sorry. I am hoping that Commander Sealed, which all three of us here will be attending in September.
Yes.
We are hoping that they don't change the guaranteed packs to Final Fantasy, because we do have a video planned in the future
To
where
talk
we
about
rank,
the,
like we did
Last year.
yeah.
where we did last year, where we rank legendary creature commanders that are potentially pullable. This will not be a fun video.
So
It'll
I
be
will.
long and tedious.
It'll be fun. It'll be long.
I
Yeah.
will say this: we are going to be doing a video because as of the current taping of this video, the 5 sets that are being offered for the 9 guaranteed packs, we've already done 2 of them, and so because we only need to do 3, you are going to get 2-part videos out of us, unless they do Final Fantasy. If Final Fantasy moves into a guaranteed pack, you will be getting 2 parts. And one will be everything we haven't done, and the other one will be a 9-hour video about Final Fantasy.
Yeah. So
Probably split that.
I'm actually I'm on their
Yeah,
site right
yeah.
now, and I can confirm the packs have not changed. It's still a guaranteed pack of Ravnica Remastered, 2 of Aether Drift, 2 of Innistrad Remastered, 2 of Baldur's Gate, and 2 of Foundations. The Final Fantasy is still a potential pack you can get,
Yeah.
but it is
So,
not guaranteed.
I will say we will be doing a video on the random packs. If everything stays the way that it is, we'll be doing a video on the random pack commanders you can get and things that we're going to shout out from those. Because quite frankly, yes, the guaranteed packs have a ton of legendaries in them and a lot of fun ones that are coming from Foundations. So I'm actually really excited to talk about those. But yeah. Anyway, let's get back to this Final Fantasy.
Yeah, back on track. Sorry.
No, it's quite all right. So the backup commander is, and I believe she's the protagonist for the second half of the game. is Celeste, Rune Knight. She's 1 red, white, black for a 4/4 legendary creature, human wizard knight. When Celeste enters, discard any number of cards, then draw that many cards +1. Whenever one or more creatures you control enter, if one or more of them entered from a graveyard or was cast from a graveyard, put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control. So, when I look at commanders, I like when they do one of two things. They either tell you what they want to do and help you do that thing, or reward you for doing the thing, but never both. This is what I prefer. I prefer reward me for doing the thing I'm supposed to do. Terra, in the sense of it, gets you... Both of these give you the strategy you want to do. Graveyard Recursion. It's very, very simple. We told you ahead of time that the Mardu deck's a Reanimator deck. Both of these commanders shout, recur your graveyard. And the difference is, Terra gives you a way to fill your graveyard and a way to reanimate. You then have to put in the creatures that you want to reanimate in your deck. Celeste is I'll help you fill your graveyard, and I'll reward you for reanimating your creatures, but you put in the creatures you want. So I like that these two commanders take, because like powerful commanders, they do everything. So like, you know, if Terra rewarded you for also recurring the creatures, then yeah, that Terra would be amazing. But I like that it's split between the two of them. Terra will help you fill up your bin and helps you get cards out, where Celeste is like, I'll help you fill up the bin in a different way, but I'll reward you for doing the thing. You just got to do the thing a different way. Yeah. She also specifically says that she cares about it coming from a graveyard, so reanimating your opponent's creatures will trigger Celeste.
I love theft.
It was in your graveyard. You weren't using it. It was just gonna sit there.
Exactly. I made you discard it? Oh, oh no, you can't blame me for that.
No, I played this Wheel of Fortune. It's not my fault. I was trying to draw cards.
Yep.
Oh, what was that? An Ancient Copper Dragon? Oh no, that's a shame. Reanimate.
Oh no.
Oh yeah.
It's like old mine now.
Yeah, I love Celeste. I think she's great. I can just say this right now, and I'll pass this question off to you two. Which of the two commanders would you prefer to build around? And 100% I'd rather build around Celeste. I love everything she does. Mwah.
I could
Terra?
honestly...
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, Geek, you are... Go ahead, you were starting before me.
That's right. I would say Terra for me, because if there's one thing in Commander I don't like 1/1 counters.
I can understand that.
It's fair. It's fair.
Plus the artwork's
For me,
better to me. I like her artwork a little better than... She has like more
Yeah.
colorful clothing than Celeste does, and I like being a little colorful, so
That's fair.
makes sense.
Ryan, what about you?
I could honestly go either way. Like, both of them wouldn't be bad. Like you said, they're both good commanders, in all honesty. They're similar strategies, but they are different enough to where it's not like the exact same thing, like you said earlier. So if I had to pick one, I unfortunately probably would go with Terra.
Sure.
But Celeste definitely is not would not be I'll say this. Oh yeah, definitely not. Out of the 4 commander decks that we get for these sets, and because we'll talk about the others later, the Mardu one was probably second of my favorite out of them all.
It was also second for me too.
It was the one with the most cards I liked, like new cards.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
The
no,
one I had the hardest time paring it down to just 3. I'm like, can I?
Oh
have
yeah,
6?
no,
Can I just have
I was
6,
reading.
please?
Yeah, I was
Can I
reading through the
have
deck list.
25?
No, just 6. I just needed 6, but you said 3, so I did 3.
Oh, the joke was that there's 25 new cards per deck. Also, I guess that would be the question for you. We'll go off on a quick tangent before we talk about our favorite cards. We'll start with Geek with that, by the way. Which is, how do you feel about the idea? Because when we got the Warhammer Commander decks, we got 50 new cards per deck. Then when we got the Lord of the Rings one, we only got 20. Then Doctor Who, I believe, had 30 per. And now with Final Fantasy, we have 25. We've had a range of them. Do you like the idea of more brand new cards per one? Or is this lesser one sitting for you? For me, it really depends if there's a set. Like with a set attached to this, I want less new cards. Because the less I have to look at, the better.
Yeah.
Just being honest.
30 sounds like a good number for new set. I'm kind of like you, new cards. I finally kind of settled down on my strategies I'm willing to play. I'm a little less experimental now. I've been playing for a while, and the fire hose of product will not end, so I need to pare down my ability to grunk it in my head, or know what I want. I don't want to have to buy 50,000 cards every set because they all might be useful. So 30 sounds about right. 25 is okay. 50 is a bit much. Unless they do a new Warhammer set with Jund orcs, in which case, please, 50 cards.
50. I'll take 75.
I mean,
give me a new basic land type called a fungus.
Ooh.
I mean,
yeah, orcs should be like fungus orcs. They all should be.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very plausible. I think what would happen is you put like spore counters out on orcs, and then you could
counters. Please don't ruin it for me. No.
Anyway, Rye, for you.
Ryan, sorry.
Kind of. So, at first I forgot. Like my brain's like, what was the question? No.
The answer is pickles.
For Final Fantasy, I think 30 was actually a good kind of like middle ground number. Because like you said, like these were 4 commander decks tied with a set. So there was plenty of opportunities where characters or creatures, or even like locations and everything could get a card representing that. So like if it's just 4 commander decks, I think 50 is fine. 4 commander decks is fine because you want to have enough time. Like you want to give representation to like each of the appropriate settings and everything. Like with the 40k decks, how they did.
We are going to talk about that in the main set video about what representation actually looked like in this set, and did Wizards do a good job about it?
But I think I would say going based off because like Lord of the Rings, Doctor Who, now Final Fantasy, and 40k all having like commander products. Excuse me. I think 30 is a good middle ground. I would say 30 is fine. I'm okay with that.
So just to reiterate that the Final Fantasy had 25, I actually do think that I think it truly depends if the thing's attached to a set or not. If it's not attached to a set, honestly, put as many new cards in it as you want. If it's attached to a set, less cards. We don't need that many.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you want to put in a bunch of new cards?
Sure, in the commander decks.
But like, ugh.
Yeah,
like the next set the next set we're gonna get is Spider-Man, that thankfully has no commander decks attached to it. And then
they were just getting the scene cards.
They're getting the scene cards. And we could talk about those because I think that those things are fun and interesting.
Oh, the scenes are definitely like I don't hate them.
Yeah, but Geek, let's get started. What is your favorite card?
Well, one of them, I should say, is a nice little instant called Espers to Magicite. 3 and a black. It says exile each opponent's graveyard. We love that. When you do, choose up to 1 target creature card exiled this way. Create a token that's a copy of that card, except it's an artifact, and it loses all other card types. I like this card a lot. I like exiling other people's graveyards. Cool. I like copying your BS that you're doing because, hey, you thought it was good enough to go in your deck? I'm going to make a copy of it. And it's an artifact, and I like artifacts a lot. So it hits 3 things for me right there. And it's an instant, which gotta love instant speed stuff.
Instant speed graveyard hate is great. I do love this card. This also goes along with what I said with Celeste earlier. She does not care where the thing comes from, as long as it came from a graveyard. Now this won't exactly work because this is, it creates a token. It's not the actual card.
With her.
But honestly, hating on other people's graveyards is not a bad thing.
No. Like graveyard interaction again, I'll probably start a pot a little bit on this, but you have to not be afraid of certain mechanics in the game. Like graveyard hate, it's a viable mechanic in the game. And the game has to eventually end, and there has to be a winner. If the deck the person's running includes graveyard hate, or even if it includes targeted land destruction, they're viable play styles. I'm sorry.
I play Feldon. You got to get rid of my graveyard.
Oh yeah,
You gotta.
there are just certain commanders if you do not how they work. Exactly.
Sauron, Kamiz, Belisarius Call.
We're right there.
I mean,
even you, Ryan. You just flashback.
Oh yeah, no, I love my Jeskai. Jeskai flashback is one of my favorites.
You have to put those cards in your graveyard.
I'm waiting for the no green all flashback all the time deck.
The idea you gave me with having Ramos as the head commander and having the two backup commanders be Savin and Kess. I'm thinking about it. I am thinking about it. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, there are. You should always pack Graveyard Hate, and this isn't the most powerful card.
No,
but it's the most fun shenanigans for me.
No, honestly,
I love this sort of thing.
Yeah, a building philosophy I build on now is I run targeted land destruction and graveyard hate in every single deck, provided it works with the strategy. Like for example, if I'm in black, I'm most likely including a Bajuka Bog. If I am, and all of my decks run Ghost Quarter and Field of Ruin in all of them because I 1000% do not want you getting anything though.
I like Demolition Field better than Field of Ruin nowadays because
I've become very high on Volatile Fjord.
That's a good one too.
I'm sorry, Volatile Fault.
Yeah, I know which one you were talking about.
From the Ixalan set. So anyway, so then Ryan, what is your first favorite card you want to talk about?
So I'll save the first one I put was actually the one I want to build from the set. But I'll save that. One of my favorites though is Summon Esper Valagarmanda.
New mechanic alert. Right?
New mechanic alert. I figured let's get this started.
And
let's get
the rules update. We'll talk about the rules update as well.
Actually, I actually can pull it up real quick because Geek actually sent it to us earlier. But so real quick though, as I'm working to pull that up. Summon Esper Valagarmanda is 3 in a red for an enchantment creature Saga Drake. This is a first for Final Fantasy, and I actually because one of the things before Final Fantasy came out, we were always talking how would they handle summons? How were they going to make it work? And Sagas made the most sense when they showed it. It was like, okay, this is actually they handled this exactly the right way.
Temporary powerful thing.
Yep,
makes sense to me.
So.
I don't know anything about Final Fantasy, but that makes sense.
No, I got you.
The only other thing I thought about doing was vanishing.
Vanishing also would have made sense too, because they come in, they stay for a few turns, and then they're gone.
Yeah.
But Esper Valagarmanda has 4 chapters in its saga. Its first chapter is exile an instant or sorcery card from each graveyard, and then 2 through 4 is add red for each lore counter on the saga. You may cast an instant or sorcery card exiled with the saga, and mana of any type can be spent to cast that spell.
So
it's a 3/3 with flying and haste. It's a solid card for 4 mana, honestly.
So yeah, just to expound upon this. So in chapter 2, you get 2 red. Chapter 3, you'll get 3 red. And chapter 4, you'll get 4 red. This is very interesting. I'm real glad that this is not going into standard, because the poor people who have to go up against Is It Prowess would hate this thing. What do you mean you're taking my instance?
Absolutely.
Also, a 4 mana 3/3 flying haste.
Standard for Is It Prowess is what you're telling me. Got it. Cool.
Most likely for you, absolutely. But yeah, also just a really good value. 4 mana 3/3 flying haste, that's just good.
Get rid of your opponent's worst instant or sorcery in their graveyard, worst to you, that's going to hurt you. But now you get to use it.
Or
I mean,
even grab the one that's a value piece. Oh, I'm in mono red. Let me grab that blue draw spell that I'll be able to cast
Yep.
in a little bit.
it doesn't matter if it's red or yeah, you mean because you're in red and not
And they're in blue. That's just more so what I meant. But yeah,
No,
I think realistically what you're doing is when this card comes in, I think the only problem is you're most likely never playing this on 4. This is more of a late game grab to be able to play a bigger spell your opponent's played. And like the best thing to do would be like grab a card advantage card, grab a targeted removal card, and grab a board wipe.
Oh, absolutely.
With this card, shout out to a lot of the artwork in this set. The borderless for this thing.
Oh, it's beautiful.
I will put that up
Really
on
good.
screen. Yeah,
Sorry to make you do more work, Will, but
I'll probably just put that one up as like the card that's red.
Yeah.
Anyway, so
it's a good one to do. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
almost like a wood blocky looking. It just looks really good.
I will also most likely at the end of this throw up the face commanders all got the special borderless treatment that was in the set. So behind them is the number of the game they're from.
Yep.
Yeah.
My wallet's hurting because there's 39 of them, and I'm trying to complete that as a set.
So
have fun with that.
We all talked about.
It's gonna be a time consuming.
So we talked a black card, we talked a red card. I'm gonna stay with talking about a red card, and we're gonna talk about Snort. This is 3 in a red
One
for
of the 6 I wanted.
This is 3 in a red for a sorcery. Each player may discard their hand and draw 5 cards. Then Snort deals 5 damage to each opponent who discarded their hand this way. Flashback 5 in a red. I love this. As a guy who plays a wheel deck in mono red, oh, I love this.
I like it for Niv Visionary, my newest, funnest deck that I have, because
I mean, it's got flashback. I'm good. I'm sold.
It's got flashback. It allows people to not discard, which is fine.
Yeah.
Because I'm a little lower on forced wheels anymore. But
the wheels giving an option.
It will hurt someone, and if I'm with Niv, I'll draw more cards.
Yeah.
Yay.
I think that this ability is really fun and really great, and I love the whole idea of the no, you can have cards. It's gonna hurt, but you can have cards if you want.
Exactly.
I love one of my favorite archetypes in Magic is I will give you the thing. It will hurt. It's gonna punish you, but here, have the thing.
Yeah. Yeah. I love this as a card because you get this. No arguments. You can discard your hand, draw 5 cards, and just be fun. I also love the idea of your opponent doesn't lose lose life for the number of cards they discarded. So if they have no cards and you play this and they go, oh yeah, well I'll discard 0 and draw 5, and it's you still discarded your hand. You didn't have one, but you still discarded it. You're still taking the 5. But yeah, you get to draw 5 cards without losing anything.
I'll pay 5 life to draw 5 cards.
Most people will. Most people will, actually.
I have a Yawgmoth deck literally that does that.
They may not if I'm playing Niv, because then if it's all 3 people, that's 15 cards I get.
I think it's also dependent on life totals. I think if you play this early enough, like if you play this on curve, if you play this on turn 4, most people are going to take that deal. Most life totals have not moved too much for somebody to say no to that.
But late game, you're probably going to get someone saying no.
Honestly, the later in the game it is, the better this card actually ends up being, because this card is then just 4 mana. I'm discarding my hand, which I most likely don't care about doing, and I'm drawing 5 brand new cards. I may not have had an answer, but I will most likely draw one.
Yeah.
So, absolutely love this card. I think this is great. Oh, yeah. So then, Geek, what would be your next card that you want to do?
My second card is a legendary. It's not one I would build around because it goes into a deck. And this is Locke, Treasure Hunter. 1 black and red for a legendary creature, human rogue. Locke cannot be blocked by creatures with greater power, so Skulk. Kind of Skulk. I think it's Skulk. Yeah. And then has Mugged. Whenever lock attacks, each player mills a card. If a land card was milled this way, create a treasure. Love treasures. And until end of turn, you may cast a spell from among the cards. It has everything. It goes in my Steel Chair Union deck, which is one of the decks people know me for. It makes treasures. It mills people. And I can steal their crap. I love it. It has everything I want.
This is so the difference between Esper Vilgamondar Esper Vanna White, this is that does not care what color mana you do. Locke does. He gives you the I believe it's a he. I don't know. I'm not 100% sure. Locke gives you the treasure
Until we know.
Locke gives you the treasure to help cast the spells. So like the best thing to do is aim for the person who's in mono color, because it'll be easiest to cast their spells. But if you're in black and red, you're probably creating treasures like there's no tomorrow. So you're realistically not having any problem casting anyone's spells. This is hilarious. I love this.
Locke is a male character, yes.
Locke is a male character, okay.
Like I said, I don't know anything about the games. So.
I don't know Six that well. I just know, I know a little bit about Terra, a little bit about Celeste, and I know a little bit about Kefka.
I have
and Sabin, who is a guy that suplexes a train. I know that too.
Yeah.
I have been tempted to buy the Final Fantasies 1 through 6 bundle on Steam to play through them, but it is like $100, so I'm like, kind of got priorities.
Ooh. But yeah, I think Locke's a ton of fun.
Oh yeah.
Your opponents are going to be okay with that for about, I don't know, the second swing before somebody goes, you milled my favorite card. I'm casting it.
That will be my reaction. I'm like,
well, to be fair, the Steel Tree Union is junked. I don't care if you kill them. I'm going to bring them back.
No fair.
Probably with haste.
Yeah. Yeah, I like Locke a lot. I think that's fun.
Mm-hmm.
Right, you're yeah. Right, you're up.
Number 2.
So number 2 for me is also legendary. It's actually funny that you mentioned Sabin, because it is Sabin, Master Monk.
Hey, he suplex trains. I just hear it in a Russian voice, and I don't know why. Yes, I suplex trains for a living.
He strikes me as a Zangief type character.
He probably is. Let's be real.
Yeah, probably. So he's 4 in a red for a legendary creature, human noble monk. He's a 4/3, has double strike and blitz, 2 and 2 red. Discard a card. You may cast this card from your graveyard using its blitz ability.
And blitz for.
I don't think I read him very well.
What does blitz do? Because I think it's got reminder text on the card.
Yes, it does. So if you cast a spell, Force Blitz causes gains haste, and when this creature dies, draw a card, sack it at the beginning of your next end step.
It's honestly really good.
I'm a huge fan of the Riveteers from New Capenna, so the Blitz mechanic is awesome.
Oh no, Blitz is fun.
Also
Blitz is probably one of my favorite mechanics I have not built a deck around yet.
Now,
and the
fun thing is, Terra cannot recur this creature, but Celeste cares about this creature coming back via the Blitz ability.
Yes, exactly.
So Blitz is a cast, so it can be countered, unfortunately. Yes. But honestly, Sabin's just a lot of fun.
4/3 with double strike on its own, and then if you're able to blitz him out and give him haste, that gonna hurt.
Honestly, go ahead, Geek.
I was also gonna say, I kind of like how if he's your commander, he circumvents commander tax because you killed him, cool. I'm just gonna cast him again.
Yeah, he's gonna go to the graveyard. All right, cool. Blitz, haste.
Honestly, I also kind of love the idea of the fact of a lot of people are gonna be like, "Oh, blitzing for discarding a card sounds bad." You're in a reanimator deck. No, it's not. That's actually a godsend.
Yeah, in this deck, it helps you. It fuels it fuels the engine that you want.
Also,
not a train engine, mind you.
Also, 4/3 with double strike. That's just rude.
That's just
it's just rude.
He is probably one of my favorite characters from 6, just because he suplexes the freaking train.
So we're gonna talk about my card next that I really enjoy, and so the fun thing is. The rough thing was, y'all talked about a red card and a black card in the. I'm sorry, a black card and a red card in the first thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I had a choice of whether to talk about my black card or my red card. We were all black red for all of this. My card.
No. My last card has white in it.
My last card also has white in it.
Not mine.
Shocking.
I'm sorry, the red cards in this deck they're good.
Sometimes
Like I said, I had 6 of them I really wanted to have on this list.
Yeah.
Kefka is another one.
Trust me, I get it.
Spoilers: Kefka's not the third one for me, even though
That raving lunatic.
Oh yeah. So my card, my next card is Rejoin the Fight. It's 5 and a black for a sorcery. Mill 3 cards. Then, starting with the next opponent in turn order, each opponent chooses a creature card in your graveyard that hasn't been chosen. Return each card chosen this way to the battlefield under your control. I vehemently love this. This makes me violently happy.
This is one of the 6 cards because
it's so much fun. It's so much
I love
fun.
making my opponents choose.
It's the you're gonna give me the 3 worst cards in my bin. I'm aware of this. I'm still getting 3.
Yeah.
It also opens up politics.
Yeah,
it really does.
You got a creature in there that can take care of someone else's stuff. You can finagle a deal to get the thing you want out of it.
Oh yeah, absolutely, 100%.
I mean, it's another card. Like, I would almost want to buy this deck just to take the parts out because of all those good cards. But like, cool.
Yeah, this is gonna be the first time I will say this right now. I think a lot of creators have been echoing it, and I'm really glad that they are. Buy singles. Buy singles. I will say this: if you can find the deck at MSRP, then it's a solid value. Yeah, most likely you won't be able to. I'm not saying you can't. I'm just saying that everywhere I've looked, I have not seen them at MSRP.
No. I think the closest is one of our LGSs because I pre-ordered it from there, and they're wanting $250 for the set of 4. If we're going by MSRP, all 4 of them will be $280 plus whatever tax wherever you live. So I'm paying $250 plus tax, so I am getting it at MSRP.
A little ahead on that one. Yeah.
A little ahead on that one, but the thing is, I'm not keeping all 4 decks. I did it to just secure the 14 deck for me. So I will have like the other 3 decks. I am probably gonna get rid of them, but I'm not gonna scalp them. I'm not an asshole. I am gonna offer them at MSRP to whoever wants them.
Yeah. So yeah, but we're gonna have a talk about the commander deck. So what we think about this after everything is done.
Before we finish up 6s, we should go over the sagas too. But let's finish up the cards and then. Because we didn't go over the rules, and we did not go over the rules. We did not. With sagas.
We can since we're done. Well, Ryan, do you have anything you want to say about Rejoin the Fight?
No, honestly, you pretty much hit every nail on the head. Like it's a very good politics card. It is a very fun card in that matter. Like when I said the Mardu deck was like probably number 2 out of the decks I would play if I didn't have the chance to get the Esper deck. Yeah, I'd play it. Like this just seems fun.
Yeah. So, we'll go ahead and talk about the summons and how they work. So, Rye, why don't you go through that?
So, thanks to Geek, he said this to us in a separate chat, but Wizards has a rules update with sagas. So, starting with the release of the Final Fantasy set, if a saga has no chapter abilities, it won't be subject to the state-based action that would cause it to be sacrificed due to how many lore counters it has. Similarly, it won't be the subject to the turn-based actions that add lore counter on each saga you control at the beginning of your first main phase each turn. And their example they use here is if you have summoned Bahamut with 1 lore counter on it and it loses all abilities because someone attaches observed stasis to it, it will... that's a typo. It won't gain lore counters via the turn-based action until its chapter abilities, until it has chapter abilities again. Obviously if you remove the observed stasis.
It also there's that interaction between Urza Saga and Blood Moon. Urza Sagas will no longer have to be sacrificed when Blood Moon comes out.
Right. Yeah.
Yes.
So
the rule.
That's more of a modern thing, I think, though.
Oh yeah,
I mean, it can happen in Commander.
it can be since like Commander is like
mean,
we see.
I've been known to play a Blood Moon or two.
Though I
I've
will
actually
say,
never encountered a Blood Moon yet.
though I will say, there is a point to be made that you can, while the creature is not in its saga form, if you wanted to really mess with your opponents, proliferate. Proliferate and start adding lore counters onto that creature before it comes back to being a saga creature again. So this way, they lose the ultimate ability. So for example, in Standard will currently be Legitimate Business Person and Prologue to Phyresis, which Prologue to Phyresis, I believe, gives your opponent a poison counter and you proliferate.
Yeah, believe that's correct.
So what you could do is if you Legitimate Business Person Bahamut and then use Prologue to Phyresis to start trying to get his lore counters up so that if your opponent does remove the Legitimate Business Person, he doesn't Mega Flare you. You can also just screw up their plans because that means they won't get the other chapter abilities too. It's not like when he stops being one, he will just automatically trigger. He'll have already had the counters on him. So the fun part will be like, oh, if you get it to a point where you can get 4 on him, because I think he's got 4 chapters, and then you get him, and then they remove it. He goes be back to a 9/9 dragon, sure, but then they'll draw, put a 5th lore counter on him. There is no chapter 5. He'll sack, and you watch as you're like, aha, 1 mana and 6 mana worth of proliferation we got there. But yeah, so saga creatures, they're exactly what you think they are. They stay around for the number of turns that they've got lore counters on them, which does mean manipulation of counters is even more important because if the creature doesn't have haste, it can't swing. So if it's only around for 3 turns, that means it's only able to actually swing for 1 turn. So that's just something to note. Yeah, so all right, so now we're on to the legends that we would like to build. Geek, what legend would you like to have built from this deck? Now, the caveat to all of this was I didn't want somebody to choose one of the face commanders. But yeah.
Surprise, surprise, it's a red card. Is it Strago or Strago?
I think it's Strago.
We'll go Strago. Strago sounds cool.
Okay,
Strago in Realm, which is 2 in a red for a legendary creature human wizard. I love wizards, so there we go. It's a 1/3 and it has sketch and lore, 2 and a red tap. Target opponent exiles cards from the top of their library until they exile an instant, sorcery, or creature card. This is different than a lot of these kinds of effects. You may cast the card without paying its cost. If you cast a creature spell this way, it gains haste and at the beginning of the end step, sack the creature. Activate only as a sorcery. Again, I like stealing your things. I like temporary stealing because it feels a little less bad-ish, but I like this flavor on being able to take a creature this time because we've seen the artifacts and other things that can steal an instant off somebody's library, but not something like this.
Not really creatures or anything. Yeah.
And I love mono red, so this is the one that I chose for that. It's fun. It's going to go into a number of my... I like also the impulse exile casting type mechanics, so it goes in any deck like that too.
Oh yeah, 100%. I think that's just fun. I like that a lot.
Plus the artwork's kind of cool. It's got a chocobo in it and some weird old guy with a beard and some young person with a hat and some
I assume
weird
that the two
background.
people are Strago and Realm.
I'm not sure who's who. I don't know these things.
Strago sounds like an old man.
Probably is.
Strago could be the chocobo. I don't know.
Editor, put up a bright, colorful card. Editor, I eat meat. Put up a bright, colorful card to say whether or not I'm wrong. I'm gonna guess that Strago's the old guy and Realm's the young person in the artwork. I don't know. That feels like an old person and a young person name.
Yeah,
I'm Strago.
It was real hard to choose this one over Kefka because I really liked Kefka.
Kefka's nutty. Kefka's mean.
Yeah, Kefka's. I mean, part of the course, like he just.
I don't know.
The man literally poisoned the water.
And then I finally see him, and I'm like, clown? What is this?
Yeah, he's
a court jester.
He's a piece of work.
Yeah.
Right. What's the legend you want to build around?
So mine is surprisingly is Boros. It's Mog Moogle Warrior. One red and white
Mog!
for a legendary creature Moogle Warrior. It has lifelink and has the ability Dance. At the beginning of your end step, each player may discard a card. Each player who discarded a card this way draws a card. If a creature card was discarded this way, you create a 1/2 white Moogle creature token with lifelink. Then, if a non-creature card was discarded this way, put a 1/1 counter on each Moogle you control. Mog is also a 1/2.
So
I like this card just because it's just a fun, cutesy card. Like the art's adorable on it, and I'm a as I said, I own blues. Like I am a kindred specialist. More than half of my decks I have built on Moxfield are kindred in somehow, some way.
I've got a buddy of mine. His handle is Mog, so he was like beside himself when I showed it to this in our chat. I was like, "Hey, guess what? They made a Mog card. Here he is." And my friend was like, "I'm building it." And I'm like,
I'm not surprised. That's awesome.
it's a cutesy looking creature.
I will say this.
I like its abilities too.
Oh yeah,
It's a very fun commander, honestly.
I think the fun part is even if your opponents don't take this ability and you do, you're most likely have a deck prepped to be able to just discard cards and still be able to use them in some way, shape, or form. The fact that you can prep yourself, so you can be like, you know what? I kind of need tokens. I'm gonna discard a creature card to guarantee that I make a Moogle, and then pray that somebody else at the table takes it to put counters on your creatures.
Yeah. And also, honestly, there are other Moogles in the set, thankfully.
Also, Stronic Resonator is a thing.
Yeah,
just
Stronic Resonator
double his ability. Do it twice.
Yeah.
I love Stronic Resonator.
Yeah.
And
you also don't lose the card. I believe you do draw a card, right? Yeah, you do draw a card still. So
yeah, it's looting.
So it's like, hey, it's like you offer to, and like you said, like it's like your opponent's like maybe they have a card in their hand that they can't use. They're like, oh well, I can't use this, so here I'll get rid of this. I'll draw a card. And it's like, oh, was it a creature or was it a non-creature?
I would say the best way to balance this ability is make sure you've got creatures that can bring themselves back or ways to get them back, because realistically your opponents are going to discard non-creature cards.
Oh yeah.
Because realistically they're going to pitch lands to draw actual cards.
Yep.
So I would say assume most of the time that you're discarding creatures to be able to.
Yep. So if you're able to give so if you're able to put creatures in that are easily recurable or can recur themselves, that'll be much better suited for your strategy.
Exactly.
But yeah, I'm probably gonna build Mog. I know I built Shadowfax, but Mog is much more, I think, up my alley.
Kupo.
Yep.
I guess it's up to me
honestly,
now. Oh.
Honestly, though, 6 out of the commander deck, 6 had, aside from 14, because 14 is near and dear to me because I played it the most. Still play it now. 6 was definitely had a lot of cards that I'm like, oh, these just look fun.
Yes.
I guess it's up to me. Geek, you're the odd one out. I also had a Boros Legendary. I had Bannon, the Returner's Leader. Red and a white for a 1/3 legendary creature, human cleric rebel. He has Prey. Once during each of your turns, you may cast a creature spell from among cards in your graveyard that were put there from anywhere other than the battlefield this turn. Whenever you attack, you may pay 1 and discard a card. If you do, draw a card. I love colors that don't normally do a thing. Red and white, not normally a recursion color. He actively wants you to recur things.
Mm-hmm.
It's more on the lore hold side of things, which I adore and love that.
He's just
he's really cool.
He's great. He doesn't make it any easier. I have to pay the mana cost. So like if I get milled an ancient
Copper Dragon.
Ancient Copper. I was trying to think of the white one because I said Ancient Copper before.
I believe that's brass. No, that's the black one.
Ancient Gold. Ancient Gold.
Gold. That's it.
So,
I was like, I know it's
say you build an Ancient Gold Dragon. I still have to pay 8 mana for it. It's just I can still cast it. I do think that he's a lot of fun because I like the idea of taking a strategy and going, no, you can't just full bore into it. What you need to do is be controlled about it. Like, my Mortarion deck is a life lost deck. I actually want to beat the crap out of myself. But I like that.
Yourself.
Right, exactly. I'm kicking my own ass here.
You're mine.
Yeah, exactly.
I do. You know, the former, I'm still not going up against that deck yet. I still love the name
Really?
of it, though.
Yeah.
I'm not. Maybe next Magic night.
So, yeah, I just love the idea that he does not want you to, like, full board, put as many cards into your graveyard as you can. No, he's actually like you should take your time because you can only pay so much mana.
Mm-hmm.
I love that. And he also gives you a way to put creatures into the bin. It goes along a lot along the lines of what I said, where he can help you get to the strategy and gives you the strategy to do, but you're on your own to actually do the thing.
Yeah.
So that's it for Final Fantasy VI. We're gonna go ahead.
Cool deck.
Very cool deck. Very cool deck.
The Mardu deck was definitely it was good. It was very tempting to not say like I would probably play this over 14, but not 14. As soon as they made we'll talk about the face commander when we get to it, but as soon as they announced the face commander, I'm like, mine. Give me that deck, mine. It's mine.
So let's go on and talk about what is arguably the most popular Final Fantasy game with Limit Break for Final Fantasy VII.
I know a little bit about this game.
Yeah,
even though I never played it, I do know a good chunk of details from this game.
So
I mean, can't be as old as we are and not know about this game.
Exactly.
Is true.
Basically, the Naya deck it can play one of two ways because with the two commanders how they function. It's either you play it's equipment based or 1/1 counter based.
Well, more so power matters,
Power matters. Sorry, yeah, not 1/1 counters.
Which can be 1/1 counters, but yeah. Rye, I believe you are reading. Speaking of things people know about Final Fantasy, why don't you read arguably the most popular character?
Probably the poster boy of Final Fantasy.
I thought Sephiroth was the poster boy.
It's probably both of them equally, to be quite honest.
It's arguably both.
Unfortunately.
So, face commander of the Final Fantasy VII deck is Cloud, ex-soldier. 2 red, green, and white. For a legendary creature, human, soldier, mercenary, they have haste, and then when Cloud enters, attach up to 1 target equipment you control to it. Whenever Cloud attacks, draw a card for each equipped attacking creature you control. Then if Cloud has 7 power or greater, create 2 treasure tokens, and he's a base 4/4 off the bat.
So, a couple things to note about him is he says attach an equipment to him. So he does allow reconfigure creatures.
Yes, and he does get around equip cost.
Yes, that is honestly the biggest thing.
He's going to be very rarely a 5-mana 4/4 with haste. He's going to be something else.
He's most likely going to be a 4/4. He's most likely going to be a 5-mana 5/5 with double strike because Ember Cleave's a thing.
Yep.
Why would I use the Buster Sword when this thing exists?
Porque los dos.
Exactly. Getting him the power 7 also definitely not a difficult thing to do.
No.
Do love the idea though that because there is a then in that second clause, if you swing and have no equipped creatures but Cloud has 7 power, you'll still make 2 treasures.
Yep.
He does a little bit of everything. He also got one of the fancy background arts.
Yeah,
yes, he
it's pretty good.
He also got 3 cards in total amongst the Final Fantasy set.
Yes.
Yeah.
All the face commanders got at least 1 additional card. Cloud got 3.
Yep.
Yeah. It's an interesting deck. I'm not normally
a
person.
I have played an equipment deck before because I played Galea from the Adventures of the Forgotten Realm, or sorry, you know what I mean.
The Bant one.
AFR, yeah. And don't get me wrong, I had fun playing her. I still think she's a fun commander. The problem is with a lot of the band commanders I had built, I ran into the same issue with Perry from New Capenna. Equipment decks to me feel like you have to unfortunately become a. I'm gonna say it, like, not to be that guy, but equipment decks make me feel like I'm a bully. I don't like to pick on one specific player and everything. I like to spread out the damage and like quote unquote share the love. I do not like
Yeah.
it's like, oh, it's like, hey, sit down to play the game and everything, get going. It's like, oh, hey, wait, sorry, you're dying.
Well,
That's just me.
also, as a nice thing though, Cloud does give you an advantage if you equip a bunch of creatures.
That's also true. So he is a little different. I see
They've
the
tried
argument.
to do that with a lot of the red white legendaries lately. They try to kind
Right.
of make the equipment a little more go wide versus go tall, which is to me for Commander a little less feel bad, which is kind of nice.
That was the issue I had. Like, it's like not that they weren't fun decks. It's just like I felt like a bully, and I'm like, I'm done with these.
Yeah, I don't do Voltron for that reason. But yeah. I get it.
I tried. I gave it a shot, but nah, not for me.
Geek, why don't we talk about
I get to do the fun one.
Arguably the most powerful of the face commanders.
I mean, I don't know much about Final Fantasy VII, but I love this character only because she seems really cool. She punches people in the face. She's strong, all that cool. But anyway, the secondary commander for this deck is Tifa, martial artist, 1 and Naya, so red, green, and white, for a 4/4 human monk with melee. Whenever this creature attacks, it gets 1/1 until end of turn for each opponent you attack this combat. There's more. Whenever one or more creatures you control with power 7 or greater deal combat damage to a player, untap all creatures you control. If it's the first combat phase of your turn, there's an additional combat phase after this. Base-wise, if you attack your 3 opponents with 3 creatures with power 7, and you hit them, that's 3 extra combats.
Yep.
If you somehow give them double strike, that's another 3.
Realistically, if you're getting through...
Crap. And she becomes a 7/7 if you're attacking all 3 of them anyway.
Yep.
Right. For me personally, I think if you're giving them double strike and you're getting the 6 combats, that's probably game.
You're gonna win.
Yeah. I can agree with that.
She's so strong. It's green. You're gonna have big creatures.
In the immortal words of Vegeta from Dragon Ball Z Abridged, she's so cool, but that's so dumb. But she's so cool, but that's so dumb. This is for me. And again, whenever we do these videos, these opinions are our own. We can disagree with each other. We can agree with each other. I just want to say this. It is my opinion alone. Tifa is incredibly powerful. I also find her an absolute snooze fest. I think she's so boring. The problem is she's very strong. As soon as she hits the table, I'm gonna sit here and go, I really hope I have a fog because I might just lose right this second. Like, if I'm gonna be honest, I have to. She is, quite frankly, another spot removal commander based upon what you have on board. If you've got nothing and you tap out to play her, I can let her go for a turn.
Right.
But if you have haste on your board already and you play her, I am forced to remove her immediately. Because giving you 1 extra combat could just mean I die.
There's enough combat triggers in Naya.
Oh, yeah.
So much value.
Now, on that note, I'm going to play her. Please don't remove her. It's not going to be that bad. Trust me.
It's really, it's a cool card. It's powerful. The strategy is to me a little boring.
Yes, and I can agree with I can agree with that.
I love aggro, I really do, but it's like that's.
Man, did you need to staple on?
There's a lot of different ways you can get to your 7 power. You can do equipment like this deck wants you to do. You can do 1/1 counters like you could do. You could just do big fatties, which is classic. Hell, she could be a dragon deck.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
She could be an enchantress deck.
there could be some interesting things. Just
I'm not.
me reading her straight away. I'm just like, that's not.
Yeah,
for me.
again, like, I
Yeah.
understand, like she, and that's like, and like what we want to get across is we are not saying she's bad. She is a dangerous commander. Like,
Oh no, not bad. Boring
but
doesn't
she's
mean bad.
yeah,
Oh, yeah.
no. It's just for the three. Like, I think I can safely say for all three of us, we agree. It's just she's not our play style.
Like my partner Shannon loves this. Loves this. I think she wanted to
Yeah.
leave me for Tifa.
I mean, can anyone blame anyone?
No. She's
Awesome.
she's a dedicated woman. That is a dedicated woman. But yeah, so that's Tifa and Cloud.
So
No, I said it
Yeah,
right.
I will say, yeah, I will say, like, when they were talking about the commanders for this, like, when we knew Cloud was going to be the leader of the 7 deck, I actually thought it wasn't going to be Tifa. I thought it was going to be Barrett, who was the backup commander before, but then they just put I'm like, oh, okay. I'm like, I mean, either way, you could have went either way with them, but I think Wizards made the right choice going Tifa over Barrett.
she's
No,
a fan favorite.
no offense to Barrett, like, I think he's awesome.
Yeah.
So let's go
But-
ahead and talk about our favorite cards from this deck. Geek.
First one is Ultimate Magic Meteor, which is 5 and a red for a sorcery. Ultimate Magic Meteor deals 7 damage to each creature. If the spell is cast from exile, for each opponent, choose an artifact or land they control, destroy the chosen permanents, and it has Foretell. It checks all my boxes. It's a red spell. It exiles. It casts from exile. And if I play this in my version of Niv Visionary, one of the best cards in my deck is Repercussion. I'm drawing all the cards.
I mean, your opponents are most likely dead. Let's be real.
Well, yeah, with Repercussion, but yeah. If they
Is
don't, I'm going to draw all the cards, and I might kill myself, and I don't care.
now the big question I'm sure a lot of people have is this a good replacement for like Blast
Like
Act?
Blast Act?
No, it's not.
Definitely not.
It's not.
No.
Is it? No. So first off, Blast
Yeah,
Act's
no,
almost
probably not.
always 1 for 13 damage. It's just
True enough.
better. However,
True enough.
is Ultimate Magic Meteor good?
Yes.
Yes. It's a lot of
Especially
fun.
with the fact that you can foretell it too.
Also,
It's like
7,
having another delayed blast fireball.
Yeah.
but also 7 is not a tough number to get above. So
Oh,
there's
no,
a
not
good
at all.
chance this just doesn't hurt you.
Yeah.
Unless you have Repercussion, then it will.
Well, obviously.
Yeah, if you have repercussion, no, absolutely, it's gonna hurt.
I have to. My choices are colored by the decks that I play, and yeah.
Yeah, I think that this is fun. Also, Prosper plays this. Prosper and
Pro-
Faldorn
absolutely.
most likely both play this.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right. Rye. I feel like I've been hit by a meteor.
Well, mine actually, like, I kind of have a pattern going on with these decks. I seem to pick like one single color that. So one of my favorites from this is Summoning Materia. It's 2 and a green for an artifact equipment. You may look at the top card of your library at any time. As long as this equipment is attached to a creature, you may cast creature spells from the top of your library. And the equipped creature gets +2/+2 and has vigilance and tap at a green. And you can equip it for 2. Yeah, it's one of my favorite. It has one of my favorite mechanics in
Look
the
at the
game.
top card of your
Looking at
deck.
the top card of my. Sorry, Elshib the Infinite. I was
Just make
spoiled.
Any of your creatures are now one of those Vizier of the Menagerie,
Excuse me, I'd like
or
to cheat.
the Augur of Autumn from
Yep.
Midnight Hunt.
Yeah. Oh no. Basically any card that lets me look at the top card of my library, I fucking love.
It's it's
Good.
who boy
I
is
would
it a
too.
thing?
It's 3 mana. It's 3 mana with an equip cost of 2, and then buffs your creature +2/+2, which is not something to laugh at, and gives it vigilance for that matter too. But if you don't need it, if you need an extra mana, it gives it to you.
I just realized
Hmm.
I could put this in Tongarth.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, you
Really
absolutely
nice
can.
Tongarth. He get +2/+2. I get to do the things,
Mm-hmm.
and I get to tap him without attacking on my turn if I need to. which is
This
always
is
a
true.
nice option.
Yep.
Ah, man, I didn't pick this card up. I need to get the sealed.
And
Because I'm planning on putting Tawny Earth back together for sealed.
I mean, I'll be excited to see that. With
I still gotta figure out what decks I'm taking.
you want to cast meteors. I just want to protect things. My card of choice is Ultimate Magic Holy. It's 2 and a white for an instant. Permanent you control gain indestructible until end of turn. If this spell was cast from exile, prevent all damage that would be dealt to you this turn. How do you cast from exile? I'm glad you asked, non-existent voice in the void. It has foretell for 2 and a white. This is what I like to call a fair version of Teferi's Protection.
I like this card a lot, and I don't play white very often anymore.
I honestly the
Also, the artwork is really good.
Honestly, just the 2 and a white. I also love how I believe between the 3 of us, we picked the 3 foretell cards.
Yes, I believe we did.
So because like when Ryan goes with his, we'll have talked about all three foretell cards that are in the deck. But yeah, honestly, protection spells, they don't come good enough. And here's the thing, this says permanence, which means your lands gain indestructible, your artifacts, your enchantments. Usually these effects only do your creatures, especially just in white. This is phenomenal to see that this is like, nope, 3 mana. I'd like to keep my entire board, please. Stay away from me. Stay over there. Yep. I am just spreading the good word of the Lord. My Lord, which is foretelling cards. However, my Lord, I'm never paying full price for a spell. But yeah, I love protection effects like this. Yeah, and the cream of the crop of like you can cast your Ultimate Magic Meteor and do your thing with Niv. I will watch everyone else die as I just go, no. Shield.
Repercussion doesn't care if they're indestructible.
No, but it does say prevent all damage would be dealt to you.
Well, that's if you get the foretell part.
Honestly, because the foretell... So here's the big thing for me. All 3 of these cards... we'll talk about the other one too, because the other one actually costs less for its foretell. But both Ultimate Magic Holy and Ultimate Magic Meteor cost the same amount for their regular cost with foretell. You have no reason to not pay the extra 2 mana to foretell them and cast it later to get the full benefit of the card.
Right. It's basically an insurance. It's like, you know what? Just to be
it
safe,
also works against like wheel effects. Like, oh hey, you're in mono red and I know you're playing wheels, so I'm gonna pay 2. I'm gonna get this out of my hand. Go on, do what you're doing. Geek, what is your next card?
Surprise! It's another Union card. It's another red card. Surprise, surprise! It's Avalanche of Sector 7. It's 2 and a red for a star 3 human rebel with Menache. Avalanche's power is equal to the number of artifacts your opponents control, and whenever an opponent activates an ability of an artifact they control, it deals a damage to them. When I play Vazi, I give you treasures. He gets stronger. When you crack those treasures, I hurt you. I gave you things, but now I'm hurting you for it, which that's, again, one of the things I love to do in the game. So, yeah.
So this depicts the 3 other characters that are part of Avalanche that you really get to meet, which is, I think the girl's name is Jessie, and I don't know the other 2 guys' names.
I have no clue.
Spoiler warning, they don't make it.
What a surprise.
The side characters in a JRPG don't make it? Whoops.
Sometimes even the major characters don't make it.
Yeah, that is also 100% true. Yeah, they're fun. The Star 3 with Menace, they're all 3 of these decks are very artifact influenced. Even the Bant one, which probably shouldn't be, but it is. All 3 of these decks have a lot of artifacts in them. I could see these things being massive and being game-changing immediately. But yeah, also, Geek, what you've said with them is if your opponents don't have a ton of artifacts, give them artifacts.
Yeah. Fun days.
Right. What's the last foretell card?
So the last foretell card is Lifestream's Blessing, 4 green for an instant where you draw X cards, where X is the greatest power among creatures you controlled as you cast a spell. If this spell was cast from exile, you gain twice X life. And you can foretell it. Its foretell cost is 4 and a green.
Hoo-wee!
And
That is a card and a half.
because it doesn't care if the person removed the creature in response to the casting, which is nice.
Exactly. The way it's worded, I was like, that is even great. Like when I was going through the cards last night, like looking at for my 3 from the commander decks, I saw this. I'm like, oh, that's phenomenal. Even if they remove the creature, you still get that benefit.
All of the decks that are in green that shouldn't run Return of the Wild Speaker run this instead.
Oh yeah.
Like,
I honestly would run this in Dragon.
Like, well, I have an Aragorn deck, for example. My Aragorn deck's a Naya aggressive deck. I have most of my creatures are humans, just because they work really well with Renown and +1/+1 counters. I can't run Return of the Wild Speaker because I can't guarantee draw any cards.
Right.
I'll run Lifestream's Blessing. I need like 9 copies of it. There's so many decks that I'm like,
that could go into it.
so
It's
good
a
in this
very
deck.
good. Yeah, it's a very good card.
The question I have to ask though is, how many cards do you have to draw before this spell is before the spell is worth it? Like, if you pay 6 mana instant speed to draw 2, gain 2, is that worth it?
Right.
Probably not.
Well, you'd be paying 5 mana if you want the game on.
That is true. So,
well, technically, no. You would technically be paying 7 because you pay the 2 to foretell it, and then you pay 5.
The hope is that you don't have to. You're not casting it in the same rotation.
Right.
You can't. You have to do it in a later turn if you foretell it.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Like overall, you're
can't foretell and then play it from there. You have to do it on another turn.
Well, yeah, I know. I'm saying like your opponent goes to board wipe, and it's just like I have to do this now.
Yeah.
Basically, foretell. And people are probably gonna hate me for this, but I'm gonna say it. Foretell functions just like how in Yu-Gi-Oh with trap cards. When you play a trap card in Yu-Gi-Oh, you cannot play it immediately. You cannot flip it over on your turn immediately. It has to go to your opponent's turn.
This, but to get back to this is a very strong card.
It is.
Green super didn't need this card draw spell.
No.
Why do they have this thing?
So
because green gets everything.
Assume you have a 3 mana creature, which is what you're mostly going to have in a green deck minimum.
Mm-hmm.
That's 5 mana to draw 3 and gain 6.
Yeah,
that's not that bad.
Oh, it's not horrible.
That's normal.
You're going to get the most. I'm trying to think of like when Return of the Wild Speaker is good, and generally it's 4. Yes. And so the thing, I think the thing for me is, because this does not care about the creature type, I think it's 3. I think when you're drawing 3, that's honestly worth it.
Yeah, because like,
5 mana for 3 cards is not.
Yeah, no, and that's what I mean.
One off of Harmonize, but then you also get the life gain.
Yep.
Yeah, I like this card.
A big stompy green commander though.
Oh yeah.
Imagine this with Galta.
She's just
exactly. Yeah, like, Galta freaking loves us.
Galta. I'm gonna draw 12, gain 24.
In Galta, you just run both cards.
Well, yeah, of course, but I'm just saying, like,
and you just make a blue player blush.
Like, I have all One Eye, and like I don't have. I think I have maybe 2 humans in there.
Right.
Yeah. So, but like this is this in worst case scenario is 6 mana, instant speed, draw 6. Like that, it's great. I guess that makes it me. I'm gonna let y'all know right now. I just discovered this. All 3 of my cards are white and mono white at that.
I'm not.
My second card of choice is the Soldier Military Program. It's 2 and a white for an enchantment. At the beginning of combat on your turn, choose 1. If you control a commander, you may choose both instead. Create a 1/1 white soldier creature token and put a +1/+1 counter on each up to 2 soldiers you control. This is hilarious.
I mean, it's a good white card. They've been getting a lot of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is
like soldier type. That's even better.
I think that there's I think this might be the first card where we ever see a if you control your commander do both that's not one of the will cycle. Or like a
So,
this creature and your like or like the lieutenant thing where like, oh, if you control your commander do this whole thing.
yeah.
Honestly, like if you don't control your commander, you're most likely creature screwed and you're just going to be making soldier tokens. And if you have your commander, even if they're not a soldier, you're making like worst case scenario at the beginning of combat, you're making a 2/2.
Mhm.
That if it stays for the whole turn cycle, on the next turn, you make a 2/2 and then turn that 2/2 into and then turn another 2/2 into a 3/3. Like Oof. Oof,
Yep.
this is dangerous. This is dangerously good. Also, very low to the ground. You could easily play this before you play your commander, get a token out of it immediately, then play your commander on the next turn, and do the whole thing. Like it's just it's mean.
Good
It's
card.
mean and I love it. So Geek, what legend you building around?
You guys are gonna get bored with me. It's another mono red card.
That's fine.
And it also cares about exile.
Oh,
also
what?
really
No way!
It also has really cute artwork. It's a Kate Sith, which I think is what we
Hey!
figured out how to pronounce it.
It is
Yes,
Kate
pronounced-
Sith.
It is Kate
It's
Sith.
3 in a red for a 3/3 cat Moogle. So we got another Moogle, and it has lucky slots at the beginning of combat on your turn. Scry 1, then exile the top card of your library. You may play that card this turn. You may exile when you exile a card this way. Target creature you control gets +X+O until end of turn, where X is the card's mana value. This, I mean, I like to exile off the top of my library and cast the
Mhm.
spell. I like
It's-
to pump my creatures. It has a cute cat. We like cats. So, yeah.
This is like the kind of red commander people want to see. They're like, oh my god, card advantage with card selection and a pump. It's red. It's mono red Christmas.
It's me. It's me.
Also,
Lucky cat Moogle.
also because Final Fantasy VII Rebirth happened, we do have an accent for Kate Sith, who is
Scottish, isn't it?
a little Scottish.
It's-
So
yeah.
I can't read that flavor text in not the Scottish accent. I'm friend to one and all, thanks to my crystal ball. Oh, these are me lucky charms. It's like it's bad. However, a phenomenal voice acting. I'm not shitting on the voice actor. I hear
Oh,
the
no.
accent looking at the card.
Yep.
Yeah. I don't know who the dude he's standing on is, but he seems kind of cool.
That's the Moogle.
That is
I
the
do know
Moogle, but
that.
I believe that Moogle is just the it's a robotic creature.
I believe that's the fortune telling machine.
Yes, I believe that is I do believe that's
Ah.
correct.
Okay.
Yes.
I did not know that.
Well, from
Cool.
the clip that we watched, it spits the slip out of its mouth.
Oh, yeah, it spit out the thing. Yeah, okay,
So,
now I remember. All right.
I have a feeling it's a little bit of a robot type situation, which is why they're an artifact creature.
Could be a,
Oh,
could
it is
be a
an artifact
Moogle.
creature.
It's a
I-
big
And even
yeah. It is a big
I completely
creature,
I'm
so
sorry, guys. It's
there
a
could be a
artifact.
there could be a Moogle piloting it.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't even read that when I read the card. I'm
I mean,
so sorry.
tell me I'm wrong. I haven't played the game yet, so I can't tell. I can't say if
Right.
I'm wrong or
No
not.
artifacts, so there we go. Cool for me.
So
The legend you want to
I
build
will-
around.
I'll admit I had a tough time picking a legend I would want to build from this deck, because unfortunately, this deck was the one that interested me the least. But the one I did end up picking. I don't think I'm going to pronounce this correctly. It's Red 13 Proud Warrior.
That's correct.
1 and Gruel for a legendary creature beast warrior with vigilance and trample. Other modified creatures you control have vigilance and trample. And then also has Cosmo Memory. When Red 13 enters, return target aura or equipment card from your graveyard to your hand. So,
This
Like,
is silly.
That one from Kamigawa.
yeah, honestly,
Very cool.
he does remind me of the commander from Kamigawa. Shoshiro, I think?
Cheshire.
Or Cheshire? Cheshire.
Yeah.
I was like, I knew it started with a
Snake
C. I was-
Samurai.
Yeah.
This is fun. I do.
This is the one I could feel like I could have the most fun with because it's not just focusing on Red 13 as the creature like leading the deck. It says other modified creatures you control. Like so, they want you to play the auras on or like give 1/1 counters, everything like stuff like that. Since because just for anyone doesn't know, modified creatures count as either equipped, auras, and counters. What would it be? 1/1 counters, shield counters.
I do.
If I were to build this, I'd end up going auras just so I have an aura
Yeah.
deck.
I like for me, he'll go in my Naya Aragorn deck because
Yeah,
yeah.
because you do with the renown.
I
Renown
do not like the fact, if I'm remembering the story for Seven correctly, he's an experiment. So the idea
Yes.
that he's modified does hurt my soul a little bit, if I'm remembering the story correctly.
I do believe. Yeah, I do
Yeah.
believe that's correct.
It's like
would
Rocket
have.
a little bit modified.
Yeah.
Yep.
But yeah, I think he's fun.
Yeah, he seems really cool.
Oh boy.
It's an interesting deck.
Is it bad to tell you that my build around legend is one of the villains?
No.
No.
My legendary that I would like to build around is Heidegger, Shinra Executive. 3 and a white for a 3/3 legendary creature human soldier. At the beginning of combat on your turn, target creature you control gets +X/+0 until end of turn, where X is the number of soldiers you control. At the beginning of your end step, create a number of 1/1 white soldier creature tokens equal to the number of opponents who control more creatures than you. This just, like, it's Soldier Kindred. Yes, it is only in mono white, which is unfortunate. But rewards you for going absolutely massively wide. And then if you're not going wide, he offers you protection. Like, if all your opponents have 2 creatures and your board's clean, you play him, go to end step, and now outnumber your opponents. Because he'll make you 3/1/1s. Which is nice. It's nothing crazy. And he's a 3/3. He does say target creature, so he can pump himself for his effect. Does not ever change toughness, so you do need to be careful about things like that. But I just think he's fun, because Soldier's one of my favorite Kindred things to do.
I'm surprised you didn't choose a different one for your build around that, actually.
Really?
I figured you were going to go for Tartaru.
Tartaru's not in this deck.
Oh, it's in the other deck, isn't it?
Tartaru's in 14. No,
I can read.
will
I can read
say,
everybody. I know everything about this franchise.
I will say the other build around I had considered was Vincent.
Vincent seems cool.
Vincent's just a strange little man, and I'm just like, you're voiced by Matt Mercer. I can't hate you any more than I already do.
I like that he hits everybody.
Yes, and that's my thing. Is like, I don't want to bully anyone. I want to bully everybody. But yeah, so that was the 6 deck. I'm sorry, the 7 deck.
7th deck.
Yeah. Whoopsie.
It's an interesting deck. Kind of
Yeah.
goes in my style, but has a
Yeah,
lot of interesting
there
cards in it.
were some cards in there I was looking. I'm like, oh, I could use this. Could use this.
Exactly. I was also the same way. As I'm like, I think for me, the Mardu deck had overall more cards I enjoyed. That I'm just like, these will fit any kind of strategy I love to build. Where with the 7 deck, I was like, I see you being in here, I see this being there, this going here. Like, it was very more pinpoint where those cards were going.
Yes.
I did almost choose a different card from my build around, and that was Bugenhagen, because I like saying Bugenhagen. Plus, he's a dude with a really big mustache.
Yes.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I think he's bald. Yeah, he looks like he's bald, which... Yeah. Anyway.
So now we're going to
Onward
talk
and
about
forward.
Final Fantasy X. No, I will not be doing the laugh. It's so...
What?
So Final Fantasy X is one of the ones I know really, really well. I have played it and beaten it from start to finish. I thoroughly enjoyed the game. I learned the Jack shot. I don't mind the sphere grid. That's a hot take. But I really enjoyed Final Fantasy X. It was one of the few ones that had like voice acting to it.
It's one of the also few that I have like a tangential idea of some of the characters. I know there's a love story that everybody really seems to like. I know there's some heartbreak, which everyone doesn't seem to like.
I mean, that's true for like everything, though. Unfortunately,
I remember there was a second game for it that had a lot more music in it. I think?
Final Fantasy X-2.
Yeah.
Where Yuna went staff, Glocks.
And she also, I think she did a lot of singing in that one, right?
I think so. It's her Riku. I think she's also in the game. But let's talk about the face commander, Titus. I know how it's pronounced. No, I don't give a shit. Titus, Yuna's guardian. Green, white, blue for a 3/3 legendary creature, human warrior. At the beginning of combat on your turn, you may move a counter from target creature you control onto a second target creature you control. And cheer. Whenever one or more creatures you control with counters on them deal combat damage to a player, you may draw a card and proliferate. Do this only once each turn. This is just fun. He's very clearly a Bant counters matters commander. And you can be moving all kinds of counters. This is in the same vein of like Goldberry from
He's a little less scary than Perry.
He's a little less scary from Perry because he's about teamwork. Where he's just like, we're gonna move counters around all over the place. All right, guys, we'll work as a team. Oh, you hit somebody? Good job. More knowledge. We got more knowledge for beating the crap out of people. I think he's a very straightforward commander. He's fine. This is arguably the protagonist of 10. Titus is... He's one of the few times I really feel that a character throughout the series starts off in kind of a crappy place and actually becomes a better person as the series goes on, where the rest of them are like, they're heroes the entire time, except for 9. We don't talk about Zidane. He's a kidnapper, let's be real.
He's a pirate.
Yeah,
kind of.
But yeah, so that's Titus.
I get the fun one again.
Oh boy.
First I got Tifa, now I got this one. The secondary commander is Titus's love interest, Yuna Grand Summoner, 1 in Bant, for a 1/5 human cleric. Her first ability is
that's fine. That's fine.
Grand Summon. Tap, add 1 mana of any color. When you next cast a creature spell this turn, that creature enters with 2 additional 1/1 counters on it. That's a fine enough ability on its own.
Yeah, she's already a solid commander. That's actually really good.
Whenever another permanent you control is put into a graveyard from the battlefield, if it had 1 or more counters on it, you may put that number of 1/1 counters on target creature.
Wizards, why? Why did that sentence happen? Why? 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 She also doesn't care what kind of counters on them. Did your opponent kill it with -1/-1 counters? Cool. Did it take 3? That person's 3 points stronger because fuck you. There's my 1. I've been saving it for this bullshit. What happened? Where was R&D on this? Why would they go? You know what I think happened? My theories to what happened? They designed this as 2 separate cards. And some chuckle shit in R&D went, oh, these both say Yuna. Staple. Print it.
So, it's another one of those... Also, if you're playing a Yuna deck,
I wish it was alcohol.
Yuna deck, it's never just that number of 1/1 counters. It's more than likely double or quadruple that numbers, plus 1 or 2. These things are gonna be big.
So... a couple things that we should note immediately. So the first thing is that her Grand Summon ability. You do not have to use, much like Matches of Sea Cane, you do not have to use the mana on the creature spell for it to enter with the counters on it. It just does that. If anybody will ask the question, yes, she goes infinite with Freed from the Real, or any of those other ones that for a single mana, and then you have a creature that comes in with a bajillion billion Googleplex worth of +1/+1 counters.
Fun fact: Walking Ballista's in this deck.
Oh,
Yes, it is,
what? No
unfortunately.
way. You know what? Hopefully they didn't put an infinite combo in there. We'll talk about that in a second. We're going to talk about our favorite cards, and then we'll talk about that. We'll save all that for the end. So it should be very clear that when talking about what does and does not get counter amplified with this ability, and it matters of the put versus enters. So with her second ability, yes, she will always, if you say a creature dies, there's quite a few summons in this deck. She does not care what kind of counters were on the thing. So when those summon creatures die with 3 lore counters on them, she will put 3 +1/+1 counters on something else. That, because she's putting counters on things, will be amplified by those effects. The enters, however, says that they enter with those counters. It's not you put the creature and then you put the counters on them. So actually, thankfully, no, it won't be amplified like that.
I was talking about that second ability with the
Oh, okay.
thing, probably, yeah.
But that does matter for quite a few things. Because, like, for example, if your opponent has a Vorinclex on the battlefield, they will still come in with both +1/+1 counters on them. Vorinclex will not affect them until you try to put more counters on them. It's something interesting and important to point out and know. Thankfully, for her first ability, there is nothing that goes infinite in the deck. Yes, there is an infinite combo for Walking Ballista. We will talk about it at the end, and we can express our feelings on how we feel about that. I'm sure you all can already guess how I feel about it. Yuna's very strong. Yuna's so strong. 6 felt balanced. 7, there was a massive disparity between the power of the face commander and the backup. It's the same thing here. There was such a disparity in power between Titus and Yuna. She's so much stronger than him. In my personal
She's a little
opinion.
generically strong, in my opinion.
Oh, 1,000%. But like, Titus is a
Every
toned
unit
down.
deck's gonna be the same. Sorry.
They
will.
Your deck is not unique. No, it's not. As much as you want to tell me it is. Unless you try to play Bant Hydras, and then you're just wrong.
I'm also gonna say this deck gave me the most trouble finding a card I liked out of it. I'm not a counters fan.
My picks for my favorite cards, to be 100% honest, one of them was a mechanic that I enjoy that I wish I would use more often. The other 2 are legitimately because I enjoyed those things from the games. So, like, that's a heads up. Like, I also struggle with this deck quite a lot. Looking at the deck list, does the deck look fun? Absolutely. Also, Yuna's artwork for her alternate art goes up on the screen now because she's adorable.
He's adorable.
But she's adorable. She's also, I believe, canonically 17. We're not going there. So, but yeah. She's real strong. Rye, I apologize. I went off on a tangent. Anything you want to say about her?
No, honestly, you kind of hit the nail on the head, so I ain't going to be a parrot here.
Alrighty. Geek. What card do you like from the deck?
Well, the first one is a mono green card. It's Yuna's Decision. 3 and a green for a sorcery with choose 1. Continue the pilgrimage. Sack a creature. If you do draw a card, then you may put a creature card and or a land card from your hand onto the battlefield. Or find another way. Return 1 or 2 target permanent cards from your graveyard to your hand. I like modal spells. I like recurring things. I like cheating. This does all of those things.
This is the lovey-dovey moment. This is the kiss in the game.
Yes. But like, yeah, I'll sack this 1/1 token and put out a big fatty. Sure.
I also love the idea. I also love the idea of like what I brought up with Yuna. So you cast Yuna's Decision and sack a creature that had counters on it to just put more counters on another creature and then cheat in something else. Because why not? Screw you.
Yeah, it works. Yeah, so that's fine.
I will say, though, if you do have a creature that has only like 1+1/+1 counter on it and you don't want to lose it, Titus is really good for that because you just go to combat, move the counter off the thing, don't swing with that thing, and then sack a Titus decision afterwards. That's my opinion. Rye, what you got?
Feel very one note here, even though I didn't pick one of these for the 7 deck. But one of my favorites is another Saga creature. Summon Yojimbo.
Yojimbo! That's just what I hear every time I
for
say
an
this.
enchantment creature Saga Samurai. It has vigilance and 5/5. It has 4 chapters on its Saga. First chapter is exile target artifact, enchantment, or tapped creature an opponent controls. 2 and 3 are the same until your next turn. Sorry, creatures can attack you unless their controllers pay 2 for each of those creatures. And then chapter 4 is create X treasure tokens, where X is the number of opponents who control a creature with power 4 or greater.
This is like kind of great. Love this effect.
Honestly, for mono white, like you got to figure, like in the first chapter, you eliminate an artifact, enchantment, or a creature that as long as it's tapped, like that's good. It's removal. Chapters 2 and 3 protect you. They pillow for you for the next 2 turns. So provided, and again, with the way it's worded, until your next turn, even if you remove them, it's it's still the effect's still there. If Yojimbo is able to survive to chapter 4, you have the potential of either creating at minimum 1 treasure to a maximum of 3 treasures, because that last one is heavily reliant on your opponents, depending on what type of creatures they have.
I will say, so no, actually minimum is 0. Because if none of your opponents control a creature with power 4 or greater.
Yeah, you are correct. I misspoke.
No, but that's fine. Yojimbo...
you can whiff, but a 5/5 Vigilance Samurai?
Yojimbo is summoned in the game, obviously. When he shows up, you actually have to pay him to do his attacks. And the more money you pay him, the better attack he does.
That's hilarious.
So, so I love so a lot of the times what happens is you'll pay him a bunch of money and he finishes off everyone you're fighting, like in that single blow, and you get more than you spent on winning the battle. So I actually kind of like the idea that this final chapter is an homage to that. Like you were protected and I eliminated something. You've won the battle. Pay up. That's fine. You can grab it off the purse on the ground because there's more money in there. I want the change. Bring me the change. It's like my mom talking to me when I go to the store when I was younger. There will be change. Bring it back. I love him. Also, he's a 5/5 with vigilance. He stops your opponent from attacking you. He doesn't say he can't attack.
Exactly. Like, and another, like, funny enough, Yojimbo actually makes an appearance in Final Fantasy XIV.
He does, yes. During the Hildebrand missions.
During the Hildebrand quests, which are so unhinged.
So I think there might be a little bit of a theme for me because I do like the idea of telling my opponent's spells no, without countering them. And so my first spell of choice is Protection Magic. It's 1 and a white for an instant. Put a shield counter on each of up to 3 target creatures. This is a very fun effect. Generally when we see these, it's like, oh, you gain indestructible. But no, like, I think the really fun idea is you use this to save your commander from being blown up and put shield counters on other things. And then what Titus does the fun thing of doing is moving those shield counters around. Like, oh, you removed my you destroyed my commander. Shield counter took it away. Go to combat. Hey, give her your shield counter. Give her the shield counter. Good job. Thank you. I just think that's fun. Also, that the flavor text is what Eunice says when she casts like a protection spell.
It's fun interaction that you don't have to have a spell for. That's what, like me, for mine, it's redirect. I love redirect. But this is cool because it synergizes with the commander and, like you were saying, it just, but it does the thing.
Yeah. Also, normally when we do Normally when you get 2 mana protection spells, they only protect a single creature. This protects 3.
But they're temporary protection.
Oh, yeah.
You know, proliferate effects. Which, oh wait.
Geek, what's your next card?
I'm gonna be honest. I only chose this one for the artwork. Because like I told you, this deck was very hard for me to find cards I liked out of.
I
Because
understand.
I'm not a counter person. But it's Tromel, Seymour's Butler. 2 and a green for a legendary elf advisor. 2/3. Each other non-token creature you control enters with an additional 1/1 counter. We've seen this effect on multiple other mono green creatures, so it's kind of cool. But it has 1 tap, proliferate X times, where X is the number of non-token creatures you control that entered this turn.
That is a funny ass ability.
Imagine if you've got Great Henge and lots of little creatures.
Mm-hmm.
I hate that turn, even if I'm playing it. No. No, thank you.
I will
Even better,
say
have Kodama of the West tree out.
I will say that while yes, he absolutely works as like another legendary in a deck, he obviously works best in a deck that has white, so you're playing Flicker. So you flicker everybody but him, they come back in, they all get +1/+1 counters. And then when 4 creatures have entered, you pay 1 mana and proliferate 4 times. I easily could see him being a poison commander too.
Yeah.
I just like the artwork. He's a weird looking bearded guy.
Yeah.
You ain't lying.
Yeah.
Rye, what's your next card?
So, surprise, it's 2 mono white cards in a row.
Let's go.
My next favorite is Chocobo Knights.
I love these little crap heads.
3 and a white for a creature human knight. Whenever you attack, creatures you control with counters on them gain double strike till end of turn, and they're
This is
3/3.
hilarious. Hilarious.
Pretty
Like-
good card.
Yeah, it's solid. Honestly, it's a knight, so like it's kind like I was thinking about putting it in Sidar, but I'm like he doesn't usually do 1/1 counters, so I'm like
Doesn't
yeah,
want
not
those, yeah.
no. But I am building a Chocobo deck. Absolutely gonna go in there.
I have a couple of decks that could use this card. My Kamiz deck, which does connive, which does put a +1/+1 counter on things.
Yep.
My Aragorn deck, which has all my creatures with +1/+1 counters on them.
Mhm.
So now my attacking creatures will just have double strike. It's fine.
Or like
And
you're saying with the
good part
Tromel,
is-
he had a white in it.
But the good part is it doesn't care what type of counter it is on it. So it could be 1/1 counters, -1 counter, shield counters, finality counters, any of
Trampled
that.
touch.
Yep.
You want to do something fun? You put the woman in this deck that lets you, I think Masako the Humorless. She lets you block even if your creatures are tapped. So you just put stun counters on your things. They still have double strike. It's, how did a stun countered creature kill me? Chocobo Knights.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I did think this is fun. And then yeah, going along with what Geek said, I did also struggle to put some cards in this deck. I did go based upon things I enjoyed from the game, and I brought up that I enjoyed it. So let's talk about Sphere Grid. It's 1 and a green for an enchantment. Whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to a player, put a +1/+1 counter on that creature. Already a very strong ability. Which I just think is hilarious. But it also has unlockability. Creatures you control with +1/+1 counters on them have reach and trample. Because why not? This is very silly. I like the idea, though. I appreciated the idea that it cares about what kind of counters are on there. Because if that just said creatures with counters on them have have reach and trample, it would be very silly. Very, very silly. But honestly, even with just the +1/+1 counters on there, that's so strong.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. My partner just arrived home. She was asking if we're still recording, and we are. But yeah, Geek, Ryan, what do you think about Sphere Grid?
Honestly, yeah, I have no complaints on it. It is a solid card.
I think if your deck even haphazardly does +1/+1 counters, you would benefit from putting this card in there.
I
Yeah,
was about to say I don't like to do 1/1 counter strategies. This is still just a card that does it for itself. You want to hit people with your creatures, you're gonna get the counters, and now they have Reach and Trample.
Hey, honestly,
you don't
if
need
you're
any other support for it, it just has it.
yeah, if you don't like, I think that this card could be a solid include as the idea of like I'm just trying to win. Like, part of me kind of wants to put this in Chatterfang because like he has Forest Walk. So I hit one person who has a forest, and now he has Reach and Trample.
Now they really can go after those drakes.
Yeah. We've unlocked our ability, lads! Get in the air! I've just imagined Chatterfang volleyball spiking a Drake. Rye? What do you got?
I think it's me.
Geek, what do you have for the legend you want to build around? Whoopsie.
It's fine.
I was like,
I'm
wait,
gonna
what?
butcher this name again. It's Himari. Valiant Guardian 2 and Simic, so green and blue, for a 3/3 cat warrior with vigilance, and has Ronzo Rage. At the beginning of combat on your turn, put a 1/1 counter on Kimari and tap target creature and opponent controls. Then you may have Kimari become a copy of that creature, except its name is Kimari, and it has vigilance and this ability. Not only do I like thieving things from you, I do love copying people's things and copying them better than they did. I already have an Essex deck that does this, so this guy either becomes the commander of that deck or just goes in.
Yeah.
It's always been a toss-up what his name actually is. I believe it's Kimari.
That's what I was saying, yeah.
I'm
gonna go with that until I see the.
I do also love that, and we can note about this for all the legendary creatures that are in the quote-unquote protagonist party. Everyone but Yuna has got Guardian in their name because these are all Yuna's Guardians. It's just that they represent different things amongst them. Kimari's cool. I honestly love the idea of like taking your opponent's best creature and turning it into there. Do you know what I would love to copy with this? Marisi, Breaker of the Coil. I'm gonna tap down your
Marisi.
Yeah. Oh, and this ability. Okay, cool. I was about to say, because once he changes, he becomes that, but no, he does change every turn if you want him to. Yeah. Tap him down, put the counter on him. Now the Marisi player can't cast spells during combat, and you just hit them, and it's like, now your creatures are goaded. How does it feel?
There you go, Ryan.
Oh yeah.
Goad the other people.
Kimari's cool. He's not one of the ones I used in my party, but I do enjoy him. I think he's a fun character. Right. Who's the legend you want to build around?
Oh, sorry, give me 1 second. I was actually looking up a video to see if I could find out how to pronounce their name.
Who is it?
Kimari.
Yeah.
I'm trying to see how it was accurately pronounced, since it had voice acting. But I'll get back to that. So the legend I wanted to build around was Sin, Unending Cataclysm.
Okay.
5 and Simic, so blue, green and blue, for a legendary creature Leviathan Avatar. Flying and Trample. As Sin enters, remove all counters from any number of artifacts, creatures, and enchantments. Sin enters with X 1/1 counters on it, where X is twice the number of counters removed this way. And when Sin dies, put its counters on target creature control, then shuffle this card into its owner's library.
You know why it's called an unending cataclysm? Because I'm going to unendingly punch the person in the face who's playing this.
So me.
No, it's funny. If you have Yuna, then both of those triggers happen when he dies.
Mm-hmm.
He put double the counters on.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so gross.
One of my favorite creature types, and I don't have a deck around it anymore. I used to, but I used to like running like the big like Leviathans, giant fish, krakens, and all that. Like there's one mono blue card. I still have the card somewhere, but we refer to it as big floppy fish because it's just a
Stormtide
giant-
Leviathan.
Yep, and it makes all lands islands and it has island walk.
Yep.
Creatures that flying or island walk
Yeah, this
cannot
could
attack.
be the commander of that, and or instead of a Rick Smithies or something.
Do you know what's a fun thing for me? I just say, by the way, this just says remove all counters from any number of artifacts, creatures, and enchantments. So first off, you do not have to choose. First off, your own things. Secondly, you don't have to choose everything. So if there's counters you want to leave on things, just leave it alone. I would love to play things that come in with stun counters already on them.
Yeah, that's.
I'm going to play Sin. I'm going to remove all these bad things from my creatures. Whee!
Yeah, you could remove the stun counters. Yeah, honestly.
Watcher in the Water comes in with 9 stun counters on it.
Yep.
Yeah, which means this thing will try to untap twice, which means it'll still have 7 counters on it by the time you're ready to cast Sin. Which means he comes in with 14 +1/+1 counters on him.
Yeah.
Minimum.
From one creature.
Minimum for one creature, yes. I think
and if you have, and I'm sorry, if you have a way to give him haste, he will one-shot a person.
Oh yeah. And honestly, him dying is not a bad thing.
Nope.
Shuffling him into the deck, does that stink? Yes, but ultimately this deck really doesn't have any graveyard recursion, so Sin just coming back later does make sense.
Yeah.
Because I think the really fun part is you put all of Sin's counters on something else, and then when you draw Sin later, play it, take all the counters off that thing, double them for Sin, and then if it dies, just rinse and repeat.
Yep, literally.
Oh man, the Ozolith loves this thing.
Oh yeah.
That's the reaction I wanted.
If I have a chance to play a big floppy fish type creature in this game, I'm gonna play it.
Oh yeah. We're now going to talk about my legendary, and it's my favorite character from Final Fantasy X, Auron, Venerated Guardian. Also, I did look it up. It's Kimari. It is Kimari.
Okay.
Cool. Auron, Venerated Guardian. He's 3 and a white for a 2/5 legendary creature, human spirit samurai, who has vigilance and shooting star. Whenever Auron attacks, put a +1/+1 counter on it. When you do, exile target creature defending player controls with power less than Auron's power until Auron leaves the battlefield. This is a constantly climbing thing until your opponent's stuff just goes bye-bye. I suppose until he goes bye-bye. Auron is a very, very cool character in the game. He is a dude who wields a katana, but has sunglasses and a trench coat. Yes, he stands like that in battle the whole time. He does not use both sleeves of his coat. He is holding one arm in his trench coat. And I believe, if I remember correctly, there's only like 1 or 2 moves. He actually takes his arm out of the coat to swing with both hands. Auron was very cool. Auron was like the guy I always wanted to make in D&D, where I'm just like, yeah, I'm just the badass who's trying to make sure the youngins don't get in trouble. And then I made Calden, and Calden died too. But yeah, so that's my legend I wanted to build around in 10. So we're gonna go ahead and talk about the commander deck that means the most to Ryan and I. It's time that we went to Heaven's Ward for Final Fantasy 14.
I just recently started playing that again.
I mean, or you should also say a
Not very
Realm
far in
Reborn.
it, though.
Realm Reborn, Endwalker, Shadowbringers.
Shadowbringers arguably probably the best DLC. Nothing against Endwalker. Endwalker was a really good cap to the story. Shadowbringers pulled no fucking punches. That's my
Hey, do you like feelings? No? Too bad!
And
I originally tried to play this game before Realm Reborn, and that's why I didn't play it until more
it
recently.
was bad. It was bad. It was bad. It was bad.
Well, let's go ahead and talk about the lead singer.
Get to talk about my favorite character. And yes, the lead commander for the 14 deck is Y'shtola, Knights Blessed. 1 and Espers. So white, blue, black. For a legendary creature, cat, warlock, with Vigilance. At the beginning of each end step, if a player lost 4 or more life this turn, you draw a card. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell with mana value 3 or greater, Y'shtola deals 2 damage to each opponent and you gain 2 life. And she has a power toughness 2/4.
Wow! Wow,
Oh my
that's
God.
strong.
I mean, the artwork's good too.
Oh yeah, Magali Villanui did an amazing job. Her alternate art also stupid adorable.
Yep.
Yep, and my wallet is going to hurt because I am obtaining that card.
Yeah, all I can say is this. When she was first revealed, there was a lot of talk about whether or not she is a CEDH commander. She's nutty.
I mean, arguably she can be.
Yeah, I think that there's arguably any creature can be a CEDH commander if built correctly. However, yes, I think Y'shtola does not take much to get the job done. She also
Card
says
advantage and progressing the game in one card.
She also says each end step.
Yep.
And she also says player. Which means you can make yourself lose 4 life.
Yep.
And you will draw a card.
Yep.
You could play a spell that says each player loses 4 life. So like for example, demons do bad deal.
Yep.
And then your opponents will lose life. You'll lose life.
If you cast a non-creature spell with mana value 3 or greater.
Well, demons do, for example, it's not demons do. Devil's Judgment. There is a card, it's like 4 or 5 mana, that you draw 2 cards, each player loses 2 life. So upon casting that spell, you'll draw 2 cards, you'll net 0, because you'll gain 2 life from Y'shtola, but lose 2 life from the spell.
Yep.
And then Y'shtola will deal 2 to each of them, and then they'll lose 2 for the spell. Going to end step, you will have paid 5 mana, drawn 5 cards.
Yeah.
She also says non-creature, so she also loves artifacts and enchantments. We are just talking instant sorceries right now, because I do know that when people see non-creature, they still just think instant and sorceries. This is insane. She is very strong. Also, she's a 2/4 with vigilance. Why? Yeah. Why the woman dick? Also, it's deal damage, so if you can find some way to give her lifelink.
Yeah.
Oh, in Esper? No. That's
no, never.
Impossible.
Man, whatever you do with an enchantment.
Turn into a vampire.
Do not besmirch Y'shtola like that.
I don't know her, so I don't care.
So that's you've got kind of an idea. This is a non-creature spell deck that cares about non-creature spells. There is a ton of creatures in this deck though. I think there's like 23. Which and that does not count one of the 2 face commanders, so there's technically 24 in total. Which is a lot. For a non-creature spells matters. You do have like Hildebrand, for example, who's in this deck. He does we're not going to talk about him, but he does have an instant attached to him because it's an adventure that is mana value 3. So while he is counted as a creature, he does have a non-creature spell on him. Mm-hmm. So while the deck does have a couple of like things that hurt and look weird, it does make up for it in some ways. We'll talk about the backup commander, actually one of my favorite characters. This is Grahatia, Scion Reborn. He's white, blue, black for a 2/3 legendary creature, cat wizard with lifelink, and throw wide the gates. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, you may pay X life, where X is that spell's mana value. If you do, create a 1/1 colorless hero creature token and put X +1/+1 counters on it. Do this only once each turn. That is a nutty-ass ability. Because if you're casting a 5 mana spell, and it's like one of the first things that come to mind to me to spells with this is Captain's Call, which is 5 and a white, and it makes 3 1/1 soldiers. So for 6 mana and 6 life, you'll make 3 1/1s and a 7/7.
It's yeah, ain't nothing to laugh at.
He also works with the because like I brought up that like Y'shtola says player. Graha is how you would get yourself to get down life totals that Y'shtola would draw you cards. We're back at the 6 point. Both of these commanders work for this deck.
Oh yeah,
And like I wouldn't blame you playing either one. Realistically, you're not wrong to play either commander in any of the 4 decks that are here, but like Tifa and Yuna have got a power level that is so vastly different from Cloud and Titus. Where Solez and Terra and Y'shtola and Graha, their power level between them is really not that crazy. I do still think Y'shtola is the stronger commander. I think Graha's the more interesting one, though, and I would build Graha if I'm playing this deck. Ryan, I know you're playing Y'shtola. That's why we're not even asking you.
I was like, yeah, you don't need. I am not besmirching my girl.
Geek, the question is for you. Who would you play?
Oh, Y'shtola if I had to play one of them.
Okay.
Because I would build her as an artifact commander.
That makes sense.
Because I am nothing if not predictable when it comes to artifacts. She would be my Aetherflux commander because I would have wanted it with Cedri, but I'm not using a Cedri card ever.
Yeah. So yeah, let's go ahead and talk about our favorite cards. And Geek, should we just talk about the card you and I share?
We do share our first card. It is Transpose, which is 2 and a black for a instant. Draw a card, then discard a card. You lose 1 life. If the spell is cast from your hand, make a 0/1 black wizard creature token with whenever you cast a non-creature spell, this token deals 1 damage to each opponent. And it has rebound. That means if you cast it from your hand, exile it as it resolves, and then at the beginning of your next upkeep, you may cast the card from exile without paying its cost.
So I love that this is an instant because what you want to do with this card with Graha Tia, how you use this card is you go tap for 3, cast it, pay 3 life, you make a 1/1, put 3+++ counters on it. You'll also make the 0/1, you'll draw and discard, you lose 1 life. So you'll have lost 4 life, you'll have made a 4/4 and a 0/1. Drawn and then discarded a card. On your next turn, you'll cast it, you'll make another 4/4, drawn and discard a card, and dealt the damage to each opponent. With Y'shtola, this is very clearly you do all the things and dome all your opponents for 3 total.
Yeah.
Because Y'shtola will do 2 to each person, and the wizard token will do 1 to each person. Which means you don't need to do much to get each of your opponents to lose that little bit less of life. These black wizard tokens are absurd.
They are mean.
They are really, really mean. This is a fun spell.
Really
I
like
love
Black
this.
Mage, so I mean, I'm cool with this.
I think this is a great spell. Instant speed is nuts for this thing. I also don't blame you for casting this and making an instant speed blocker.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So Rye, we'll skip to you for card number 1 for you.
Yeah, I'm surprised. You're probably not shocked at any of my picks, honestly. But one of my picks is Emmett Selk of the 3rd Seat.
So, yeah, we're going to have another long talk about that one, because that is my legend of choice that I would like to build.
Oh, son of a... Wait, is it?
Yeah. Isn't it?
No.
No, I'm so wrong! Continue!
I'm looking at this list, I'm like, what?
We have our list.
I
on another
looked
screen
at
while we're
your
talking.
list thinking it was mine.
I specifically looked at this list to avoid duplicates.
Whoopsie.
I intentionally did that. So Emmett Selk of the 3rd Seat. 2 and Demir for a legendary creature elder wizard. Spells you
Elder
cast.
Wizard. Interesting.
Yep. Spells you cast from your graveyard cost 2 less to cast. Whenever 1 or more opponents lose life, you may cast target instant or sorcery card from your graveyard. If that spell would be put into your graveyard, exile it instead. Do this only once each turn, and he's at 3/4.
Hey, cool.
It's a
He
flashback commander in Dimir. Hmm.
Yeah.
also
Ryan has a type.
also not to shell it out. That dude ignores timing restrictions.
Yes.
Yes. Because you can cast it, you have to cast it at that point.
Yeah. Oh, you hit him? Cool. I didn't like this anyway. Tap for 5. Here's a board wipe. I don't want you guys having any of your shit. So we're gonna reset on that person's turn.
Yep.
Thank you.
I'm glad I don't play Dimir anymore.
He's so silly strong.
He is. I
He
mean,
is something I would play in Dimir though.
You're
Oh,
like,
yeah.
I'm glad I don't play Dimir anymore. Looks at him at Selk.
when
It might be
when
your
I
turn.
Geek, when I saw him say spells you cast from your graveyard cost 2 less, I'm like, oh,
You're
hello,
already-
flashback.
You're already there, but yeah. I'm
It's like,
like,
why aren't you
he-
just mono blue?
he's one of those things. I'm like, oh, even I would want to play this.
Yeah.
The
I'm
Emmett,
like, I was like, yeah.
the Emmett Selk
Yeah.
cards. He's also one of the few people that got 2 cards, even though he's in a commander deck.
Yes, he got so this is the one from the commander deck. The main set he got is Emmett Selk
Unsundered. Yes.
who flips, which is very story appropriate because like his flip side is what he turns into when you face him in the what's it, trial. I was like, it's Dungeons, Trials, Raid. I'm like, Dungeons, Raids. Raids is a big boy.
Right?
No, he turns
into
Hades.
Hades.
Oh, okay. There's another creature
Ye-
that turns into a dragon.
That is
Xenos
Xenos
J-
Gelvis.
Yep. Xenos J. Gelbus is the one who
The
turns into the
other-
dragon.
villain.
If you
guy.
want to
He's
hear
in-
our opinions on that one, please join us for the next episode, as I actually will be having a conversation about more in depth about some of the
Xenos,
cards
yeah.
from the set.
But yeah, Emmett Selk is probably one of my favorite villains from the story. He was so well written.
He's also going to discount any card.
It's also Elder Wizard.
Yeah,
It'd be really tough to just
call him a wizard.
call him
He
call him
is-
just a wizard or call him just an Ossian.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Elder Wizard makes us. It was the safest way
Elder
to go
Wizard's
with it, I
fine.
think.
But like you said, Will, he doesn't care what kind of card you
No,
play
he
in
does
your
not.
graveyard.
It's not like instant
Could be
sorceries. It's not.
dismounted.
It's any spell you cast.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, I saw him and I'm like, yes.
What is your second card? We talked about mine already. Mine's just transpose.
It is Blue Mage's Cane. 2 and a blue
Ooh.
for an artifact equipment. Be surprised that I chose an equipment, but it is special because it has job select. When you cast it, you make a 1/1 colorless hero and attach the equipment to it. So it's basically summoning a creature. So that's why I'm okay with it. Otherwise, no. But it says equipped creature gets +0/+2, is a wizard in addition to its other types, and has whenever this creature attacks, exile up to 1 target instant or sorcery card from a defending player's graveyard. If you do, copy it. You may cast the copy by paying 3 generic rather than paying its cost.
Yep.
And it has equipped 2. Again, it's a wizard, and I get to steal your stuff.
That was like it's honestly a lot of the equipments that came for the 14 deck are fun. Because like that was one thing like we were because like with me and Bill, like 14 is near and dear to our hearts because we played it the most. And we were curious because like since it's an MMO, it's like you got all the different classes. You got Paladin, you got Bard, Dark Knight, Red Mage, White Mage, Black Mage, and all, like it just goes on. There's 20 different classes you can play. Well, 10 base, 10 prestige. Semantics.
Yeah.
We were curious how they were going to do that mechanic in the MTG when
If at
they
all.
announced it, if at all, yeah. And with the way they went about it, honestly, I think they hit the nail on the head. I think that was the best way to do it.
The only thing we didn't get, and I want to talk about this more with the set, is we didn't get a reference to the Warrior of Light for 14 at all,
No,
which
we
is a
did
little
not.
upsetting, but at the same time, I also kind
It's
of
also
get it.
it's also understanding because technically the Warrior of Light is like when you're playing the game, you are the Warrior of Light. It is not
Yes.
an NPC. It's not. It is your personally created character.
Yeah.
So it's kind of hard. While they did have a template like in 14, like if you ever saw any of the advertisements, any of the videos they made, they did have a design of the Warrior of Light. Like, so it's not that they couldn't do it, but they probably just couldn't make it make sense, since the Warrior of Light for everyone else is unique to them, how they create their Warrior of Light.
But Geek, this card is hilarious. Also, you should definitely be careful about what you have in your graveyard when you see this thing come out in the battlefield. Because if it is attaches to a creature that can already attack, Ruinous Ultimatum is in the Mardu deck. Could you imagine paying 3 mana for that thing?
You ain't lying.
I will swing.
It's like, wow, this is gonna hurt.
Put that into visit.
Rye, what is your second card?
It's another legendary creature. Shocker, all 3 cards I picked from this deck are legendary creatures.
What? No way.
But my next card is Thancred Waters. 4 and a white. Yeah, you just met him, yes.
Yeah.
Funny story, actually. Like, Thancred, at first, when I first met him when I was playing Realm Reborn, I didn't trust his character for shit. So I was going to betray the party.
I know why. It's because his voice actor does a really good job, and his voice actor is Taliesin Jeffy from Critical Role.
It was Taliesin who did?
Taliesin
That's
is
why I didn't fucking trust him.
Yeah, Taliesin is his voice actor. I learned that today.
When you first meet him, he's just kind of
Well, I believe for Realm Reborn it was Taliesin, but I believe after Realm Reborn they got all swapped out. Because Sam Riegel was who used to do Alpha.
Not all of them. He's
okay.
He's listed as Thancred like all the way through.
Oh, very cool. He's great. He's good. But tangent. So Thancred costs 4 and a white for a legendary creature, human warrior, with flash, and he has the ability Royal Guard. When he enters, another target legendary permanent you control gains indestructible for as long as you control Thancred Waters. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, Thancred also gains indestructible until end of turn, and he's a 3/5.
That is silly ass ability.
Yeah. So mind you, 5 mana to like flash him in and everything, 4 mana white, but as soon as he enters, he protects something for you. And it has to be a legendary permanent, but it notices it doesn't say creature. So you got a legendary artifact, you got legendary enchantment or something, it will protect it.
Citadel, thank you.
Legendary land.
Yeah, exactly.
Planeswalkers.
Nobody destroys lands in this game. Come on now.
Planeswalkers. He does protect a planeswalker.
He does. Yeah.
I would.
Well,
I'll totally destroy that guy's cradle. That guy's cradle's going down.
That's not a legendary land, though. He can't stop that.
No.
It's just a bunch of trees.
Not, but I'm sorry. If I see someone play Gaia's Cradle and I have a land destruction card in my hand, I'm playing it. I'm sorry.
But Itlamok is legendary. That is like Gaia's Cradle.
Yes.
But I don't think Gaia's Cradle itself
is legendary.
It is?
Yeah. It's that cycle, like Shivan Gorge, Phyrexian Tower, and stuff like that.
Oh, okay. All right.
Oh, I'm wrong.
So he. What do I care? There's just a bunch of trees. That's Gaia's Cradle. Shit.
Gotta protect that fairy that's in the artwork.
But yeah, Thancred, in the beginning I did not trust
that
his
is
character,
not a fairy,
but
that's a whole ass human.
As I played through the story, he rose to one of my favorites.
Yeah, same for me. Thancred's cool. Also love his class. It's actually one of the few we did not get 8 equipment for Gunbreakers.
No, we did not.
But it's fine. My second card is Champions from Beyond. It's white, and X for an enchantment. When this enchantment enters, create X 1/1 colorless hero creature tokens. And it has 2 very wonderful references to the game. Light Party. Whenever you attack with 4 or more creatures, scry 2, then draw a card. Full Party. Whenever you attack with 8 or more creatures, those creatures get +4/+4 until end of turn. Normally when we see these kind of effects, they're in green. They, caring about the number of creatures that attacks. They've been showing up more in white, which is nice, because white is also a go wide color.
They've been very much kind of separating white and green.
Yeah.
From that overlap they used to have. white is definitely more on the go live, green is more on the go call. That's
yeah.
why like heroic intervention is no longer a spell that they would do in green because it protects everything versus one big thing. Same thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, it's a very white card. Now.
One of the things that I really I've always mentioned when talking about precons is I don't think there are cards in decks to end games. There's big splashy spells, but never like a card that just ends the game, it feels like. There's nothing like, oh, if I draw this one card, I can end it here. It's always like I could draw this, I can start closing things out, but it never gets me to win. This will win you the game. Because you could just pay, if you have 10 creatures, you could just pay 2 white. Get this, swing with 8 creatures, you'll scry 2, draw a card, and all of them get +4/+4. That is a relevant ass ability.
Mm-hmm.
It's very strong. I also like the idea that a lot like Defenders for Humanity, which is from the Warhammer 40k deck, this also can just be like you know what? No single card gets me back in the game, but this keeps me alive. I'm going to tap for 10 with X equal to 8 Champions from Beyond. And just keep yourself in the game. And there's nothing wrong with that. But yeah, that's just... I like cards that can actually end the game, and this feels like a card that can actually end the game.
Storm must be starting. Real quick, want to just backtrack a little bit because I was curious. So I was correct, actually. Taliesin only voiced Thancred through Realm Reborn. At Start of Heaven's Ward, he was replaced with Peter Bromhill.
Oh, okay. Well, Taliesin started as him. You know what?
Yes.
That's why we didn't trust him, because Taliesin voiced him, and then he got voiced by somebody else, and we're like, oh, okay, he's okay now.
I didn't trust him. I just met him, so to be with the other guys.
I mean, fair.
Geek. Who is your legend of choice?
It's not red.
Ooh,
So,
that's because there's no red in this deck.
Yeah.
Is it black?
Unfortunate. It is.
Yeah. Wow, shocking. It's like I know you.
It's Fandaniel Hellophori Asian. I think I said that right.
Close enough.
He's
Asking you had to correct. Talafaroi is a lot harder to say.
Yeah. As a 4 and a black for a 4/5 legendary creature, Elder Wizard. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, Surveil 1. At the beginning of your end step, each opponent may sacrifice a non-token creature of their choice. Each opponent who does not loses 2 life for each instant and sorcery in your graveyard.
Which is mean as hell.
That is
It's a
nuts.
choice. Sack your creature or take some damage.
I mean,
you know what would be the worst thing to do?
For losing life.
It would only cost you 8 mana, so it's not a lot. I'm gonna tap for 3 and Toxic Deluge with X equal to the board. Then tap for 5 mana and cast him.
Yep.
And then go, I'm going to my end step. You guys have to... Oh, what happened to all your creatures? That's so weird. Everybody takes 20.
You know what the bad part is? That is a play that Fandaniel would do.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
I have seen the toxic rains, and I have appreciated them. The planeswalker sitting in the back, some of the creatures. You're a dick. I am.
Oh no! In the Final Fantasy XIV story, he is a psychotic madman.
And it's such a dime switch too. It's the I love this world. I love for this world to burn.
Yeah.
I also think the name is funny.
Oh yeah. Daniel.
You know what's really funny to me is I actually am like, oh hey, crap. Lost. Fandaniel's like one of those ones where I'm like looking at this and I go, instants and sorceries in black is not something you usually see, but this is like blackdeck.asshole.exe.
Yep.
Like it's just the I'm playing every removal spell and board wipe that I can. Hopefully the instants and sorceries that could bring my commander back instantly from the graveyard to the battlefield, like Malakir Rebirth or that in the set Vincent's Limit Break. and you just laugh at your opponents as you just go. Everybody takes 30.
Yeah.
It's such a dime switch.
Oh, it absolutely is.
We're all having fun. We're not. I was talking to the voices in my head, thank you. We're having fun.
I like giving choices. Yes, you can sack the creature. If you don't, you lose some life.
You don't have to sack anything. Besides, your kidney. Rye, what legend did you want to build?
So it's kind of funny. I started with Demir, then with the mono white, and now I'm at Orzhov.
I approve.
The legendary creature I would want to build around is also one of my another character I really like from the game, Estinian Varlino. 2 white and a black for a legendary creature elf warrior. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, put a 1/1 counter on Estinian. It gains flying until end of turn. At the beginning of your second main phase, you draw X cards and lose X life, where X is the number of your opponents who were dealt combat damage by a Estinian or a dragon this turn.
White, black dragons is definitely not an archetype we've seen before.
We have not. Which when I saw him, I'm like, oh hello, I have a new deck I want to build.
But like also at the same time he wants non-creature spells. He's very strange. You know what he actually loves? He loves all the new Omen dragons.
Mm-hmm.
Because the Omens will put counters on him, and then the dragons will help further his ability.
Yep.
Estinian is a very cool character. I think that this does describe him perfectly, because that dude starts jumping out of nowhere.
Well, the him getting flying makes it's more like game logic sense.
Well, yeah, because he had
Dragoons in 14, you just see like you said, like, they just go whee, they're gone.
And you can put Sylvia Brightspear in this deck. She's a knight that gives your dragons double strike.
Yep.
Could not include her partner Korvath though.
Unfortunately, no.
Yeah. You don't care about the knights, you care about the dragons.
That is true. That is true. Yeah, Sidian's cool. 4 mana, 3/3, casting non-creature spells. So funny enough, you were talking about the Lorehold side earlier. He's actually a Silver Quill card.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, I would absolutely put Shadowfax, not Shadowfax, Shadow. What the heck's the
Shadrix Silver Quill.
Shadrix. There we go. I knew it started with an S.
You should put Brina in there too because we love her.
Shadrix, Brina, but like all the cards that like in that package of things that put +1/+1 counters on stuff, absolutely
Really
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm probably gonna start building Estinian.
Yeah, I mean, worst comes to worst, the end of turn trigger. This is draw 3 cards, lose 3 life, which isn't crazy, and is still really good card advantage.
Yeah.
Alrighty. I guess that leaves it to me, huh? I went from a black card to a white card to a white-black card. Ardbert, Warrior of Darkness. He's a 1 white and a black for a 2/2 legendary creature Spirit Warrior. Whenever you cast a white spell, put a +1/+1 counter on each legendary creature you control. They gain Vigilance until end of turn. Whenever you cast a black spell, put a +1/+1 counter on each legendary creature you control. They gain Menace until end of turn. This is this makes me so violently happy. I hate his character. I hate his character to begin with. He does kind of grow on me.
He redeems himself.
Yeah, but
and
like
you cannot deny the badass scene between your character and his at the end of Shadowbringers was not fucking awesome.
Oh yeah, the back-to-back moment where you're just like I never thought that I'd fight side by side with an elf. How about side by side with an asshole? Shut up. I'm a mechanist. He's a barbarian, so he's swinging an axe. I'm just like gun. I think Ardbert's great. I think he is. I think that
he's solid.
There is a deck, and I think it's Arvad the Cursed. He gives legendary creatures you control +2/+2, and he's in white-black. And it's really funny that like his own deck, he is just a white-black spirit legendaries matter, but there's actually a lot of support for spirits in white-black.
Sure.
So funny enough, you actually could also go a white-black spirit route, and he still fits in.
He does.
Because the worst case scenario is that you play him on 3, and on 4, you cast a white-black spell. He becomes a 4/4 with Vigilance and Menace. And he may lose the Vigilance and Menace, but he'll forever be a 4/4. He says each legendary creature, which means he counts himself.
Yep.
I think he's awesome. I love this. This is everything I want to do. 100%. I need to pick up like 3 copies of him.
Gotta put the Obsidian in that deck.
Oh,
The King of the Oathbreakers.
The Obsidat,
Karlov.
all the Karlovs.
You ain't lying.
Every Teysa. Yeah. I think he's really
even
awesome.
Moira and Teshar, the Phyrexian Spirit Bird.
Oh yeah, Spirit. See?
Bird.
There is a
He cares about historic spells.
There, you want life insurance on this guy? He's a spirit. He's gonna bite it at some point. So, yeah, I love this. I'm so excited for this card. Now, Ryan and I have our answers very obviously for what deck we would purchase. So, Geek, I want to throw the question to you: which deck would you purchase?
Marduk. Not even a question.
I figured. I just thought I'd ask.
So it has the most cards that make me happy. It's in most of the colors I like. I'll ignore the white in it. Play the rest of it.
So we are going to end this with a couple of rattled off thoughts about the decks themselves. I'm going to go ahead and get a little unhinged here and say that these mana bases are atrocious for a company that does not look at the secondary market. Because if you're really not looking at the secondary market, you have no reason to not put better lands in here. Do you know what would change my opinion entirely? Two things. That is one. Battle Bond lands. Give us the freaking lands that come into play untapped with 2 or more opponents. What is hard about that land?
Oh, in every precon. They should be in every precon.
And you don't need
every
all
game
of
of
them.
Commander. You're gonna
You don't need all of them. Give the one of the color that is attached to the most. Like very clearly, the white black is the color of the for the Scions deck. Give them the white black one. Where I think black red is the biggest color in the Mardu deck. Give them the black red one. If you really aren't paying attention to the secondary market, there's no reason to not put both, honestly, my personal opinion, both the Triomes and a Battle Bond land in these decks. It would increase their values massively and be better overall for people to purchase.
Oh, and Fabled Passage would be great. Because Magic Vista would be good. They're not like the most optimal of the fetch lands, but they're really good.
All in all, the other thing that bothers me is the idea of they put lands in there with the land types, but the land types only matter to 2 cards in each deck. Now, I believe the 7 deck and the 10 deck both have Farseek and or 3 visits in them, so they can fetch land types. Both decks that contain white have got land types that matters for I think 2 cards in their deck, and those are the reveal lands. The snarls and the locations that ask you to reveal like a plains or a swamp.
Yeah.
Why? Give them a claim jumper. Give them a core cartographer. Give them something that can go grab one of those lands. Wizards, to me, feels like they're scared to use those Godzilla nickname frames. And it's really disheartening. Because, yes, Geek and I had a conversation a while ago where we feel Wizards shot themselves in the foot with Capenna when they named the Tri-lands after characters.
And Ikoria.
Ikoria, I think you get away with it because a Triome could just be a Triome.
Well, but the regions are plane specific. Rogarim, Zagoth.
Yeah, and I can understand that, but like even then, as Zagoth, Savai, they could just be lands undiscovered in a universe, right? Like,
Kind of.
the Savai triome, we don't
The,
talk about that area.
the Vorthos will be like,
The Vorthos can bite me.
hey,
But like at the same time, it's just use the Godzilla nickname frame then.
Yeah.
Just do that. Give the land an appropriate name, make the artwork appropriate, say what it is underneath. It's besides that, and the prices of the deck themselves, which I think we've harped on enough of. I think these decks are solid. The strategies are all fun. They're not things they've touched on in recent history, which is nice to see as well. Like, for example, within 2 years, we got 3 energy decks, and that was like, I'm like, okay, I get that we like energy. Can we stop now? Like, let Jeskai do something that's not energy.
Yeah,
Let
like, even
Blue
coming
Red
from
do
me,
something that's not energy.
like, I am very happy I finally got energy decks because that was always the mechanic I loved from the beginning. When the set back then, obviously, we know now it's Avishkar. Like when it was first around, I'm like, oh, this mechanics is awesome. I love it, but I couldn't find a viable commander to make it worth it. So I'm like, I can't build a deck around this. And then thankfully, Fallout happened, and then Modern Horizons 3. But still, like, yeah, I can agree. Like, you did two energy decks, one right after the other. Calm it down.
Geek, what would you give a grade to these decks?
like overall for all 4 or each deck individually?
Your call.
I mean, I think they all do their thing. I like the Marty deck the most. That has like a good B for me. I dislike the Counter Blitz deck because I just don't like that strategy. But it's going. All of them are going to do the thing, so they're all at least a solid B.
I'm
I
of
think
the same
the
vein.
worst one, the one that's probably on the low end of B or even into the C range, is actually the Scions deck because it's not the most optimal for what they're wanting that deck to do.
Can agree
But
with that.
they're still not bad.
No, I think
They're
that
good.
I can agree with you for the most part. I think the biggest thing that just stands out to me is I still think the Scions deck is a B just because I feel like it unlike these other decks that are going to have big explosives like single turns, the Scion deck's going to truck the entire game. Like you will be doing something every single turn and it will be impactful, which is nice to see. All these decks get a C plus B minus from me. It's because the mana bases are, in my personal opinion, really bad. Could they be worse? 1,000%.
Oh, absolutely.
But they could absolutely be better, especially if you're telling us you don't look at the secondary market, because then you have no reason to not print these better lands. I know that Prof says that as well. I full-heartedly, full send agree with him that if they really don't look at the secondary market, there is no reason to not print better lands.
If I recall, like Doctor Who and the Warhammer decks had better mana bases
They did.
in them.
They're
also
100%
premium
did.
product. This is priced at premium.
But they're
despite
they're
being
not claiming it as a
standard
premium
legal.
product. Yeah.
Well, I think the problem
All
is
the
we've
UVs
actually
have been though.
well, I actually think we've been seeing a fall off with that, and we might do a dungeon delving video with that on, because the last time we had a premium product pricing on a Commander deck, it was Commander Legends, and Commander Legends had a real shitty mana base, like
You mean
really
Commander
bad.
Masters?
Yes, sorry, Commander Masters, and all of those were really bad as well. Like I think that we're getting to a point where Wizards either needs to redo MSRP already, which hasn't helped. I'll be 100% honest, but I think that's another video entirely. Rye, what's your grade on these decks?
Honestly, they're a solid B because they're able to do like Geek said, they're able to do the thing. Like each deck has the cards in it to support where it'll run the way it's supposed to run. So like I would say, and even though like 14 is obviously my favorite, I do think the Marty deck is definitely like just like I'm agreeing with you. Marty deck's probably one of the stronger out of the four. Just
It's got the most stayability.
Yeah, it's got the most stayability. So I'll say this, if I had to pick any other deck other than the Scion deck because I couldn't get it for whatever reason, my backup probably would be the Mardu, because at least there has a good chunk of legendary creatures in there. I'm willing to also build decks around in that regards. The one I don't want to get really is the Bant deck. I don't have any care for that, even though I do Bant's one of color combos I actually like a lot. So yeah, but no, solid. I think solid B for the 4 decks. Just if and I'm gonna say like you said, if the mana bases were better, these probably could have been an A.
Yeah, hard agree.
If I don't play the Mardu one, I would actually go out of my comfort zone and play the equipment deck.
Oh, interesting.
Well, if I have to choose a strategy I'm not a big fan of, I'll go with that one because at least then I can punch people in the face.
I would say this: my backup deck
completely
depends on how you're asking me. If I go with the one that I like the most next after for its strategy, then yeah, I'm going 6 after 14. I like 14 because 14 is the Final Fantasy that means the most to me. On top of the fact that it is my favorite color identity. But if I want to go for what's my next favorite Final Fantasy after that, then I'd be going with the counter deck. I would play Titus in that deck. I wouldn't play Yuna. I like to try to put together a puzzle, and Yuna's easy mode.
Yeah,
in my personal opinion, folks.
I can agree with that.
You've summoned your summons. The Aeons were around. Sin is gone. You performed the Jack shot. You passed your limit break. You've summoned your Espers. And all in all, Endwalker was a walk in the park. Thanks for joining us for Dungeon Delving.